Oh, what up, though?
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to episode 32 of Uncomfy Truths Politics Talk. I'm your co host, Conservative Brother Daily, back for another one of hot off the presses. We got a lot to talk about, obviously, including UT. We recently went a little viral, if you will, with our recent Black Women and Black Men, not for Kamala Harris town hall panel. So that's been kind of hitting the airwaves on our channel. I think we're at about 3,000 something views. Comments are growing. So yeah, definitely excited for kind of what we discussed in the collective we brought together. And I think we're at the start of something, conspiracy brother. So how are you doing today? Good sir.
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. I think hello, hello. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the town hall we did definitely exposed us to a lot of different people. I think we uh we got to go over a lot of different ideas about why we didn't support Kamala Harris as the president, as black people. Gave the opportunity to kind of dispel some of the um, false narratives concerning uh, what might be seen as some kind of universal black support. And I think it also goes to show that there are black people who are unsupportive or who don't support her, who are not ashamed to say they don't support her or not afraid to say they don't support her. And, we're not all some uh, like internet trolls or Russian bots, as they'd like to call us, but we're real people who have real, um,
Hmm.
substantive reasons. And, you know, we feel how we feel, and we're not going to be fear mongered or tricked or browbeaten into changing our views because of um, whatever these talking heads or whoever Barack
Hmm.
Obama says. We stand on our own morals and values and ethics, and that's what guides our decisions. And so that's where we are.
Great point. Great point. So once again, to those that are new, I know we've had a few. We had a growth in our subscribers, but yeah, Uncomfy Truths. We started this in the summer of 2022, actually right out of the wake of the Roe versus Wade reversal. So I think June of 22. And yeah, we've just been kind of sitting up on here. Conspiracy Brother has his own channel. A look underneath with Conspiracy Brother. I have my own channel as well, Conservative Brother Daily. So we're kind of like melding the minds, and I think it's just real important to always get different perspectives. And my content seems to be it's a little more shorter, 5, 10, 15 minute videos. Conspiracy Brother, his goes a little longer, but I think us coming together is just a great way for people to see different type of viewpoints from different perspectives. Also, too, I just want to also shout out our panelists that we had. We had Nun Dare Call It Conspiracy, as well as Sibo and Snappa, who are part of the panelists. And then also shout out to Pastor William Green of the Mordecai Mission, as well as Darvell Powell of Black and Plain. So I think overall, I think it was just a great collective that we brought together. And yeah, other than that, I thought it would be fun if we could kind of dive in. If Conspiracy Brother, if you could share my screen real quick. Um, I'm just gonna let everybody know once again, kind of where they can find us. Once again, this is the original video, Black Women and Black Men, not for Kamala Harris. This is our Rumble channel, so we have a little bit of a smaller uh, viewing portion on Rumble. And then this is, oops, sorry about that. So this is our Rumble channel where the video is. And then here is our Rumble channel in general, where you can kind of follow us. We're live streaming episode 32. And once again, we live stream about bi weekly. So every 2 weeks on the weekends, usually Saturday, then Sundays as of late. We're also on YouTube as well. And then once again, if there's anyone in the live stream who are commenting during the live stream, we'll make sure Conspiracy Brother will shout you out and throw your comment up there. So thank you, Krista, for the greetings. So yeah, so this is our YouTube channel, our Rumble channel, and then we're also on Odyssey as well. So here is the original video. Once again, we're at 3,000 views, over 100 likes, and the comments are growing. So I put this up to say, because we're not all about just chasing numbers, but at the same time, it goes to show that hey, there is a conversation to be had, and people are going to feel one way or another. But I think it's still important for us to just talk about where we stand. So really quick, Conspiracy Brother, if you're ready, I thought it'd be fun to kind of dive into the comments, just kind of give our initial thoughts. There's some silly stuff in there. There's some also some comments of substance that offers great perspective. And at first I was like, oh, let's play a game of like bot or not. But at the same time, I think it's important if we're having these conversations that we don't shy away from not just maybe praise, but also criticism. And we can kind of meet them where they are. And if they have a silly comment, I'm gonna match that energy with the same silliness, you know, as a way to uh, you know, tough love correct our community. So I just want to let you know, Conspiracy Brother, about that because I think some people just throw up a comment because most people end up clicking a video. I don't know if you experienced this, Conspiracy Brother, but most people will click on a video and instead of watching the entire video for substance or perspective, they'll go right to the comments. And based on the comments, they'll sift through and find the right ones that reinforce their current bias. Oh, I knew it. Yeah, that's right. So I think it's really important that, you know, from a fun aspect, we go through the comments and we can kind of keep it brief as far as our initial thought. But I just think it's important to once again give credit to the people that like get it. They're definitely they get what we're putting out. But then also the ones that are kind of silly, I think from a tough love standpoint, I think it's important to call them out and kind of debunk or fact check them or whatever. So, Conspiracy Brothers, just want to get your thoughts on that before we hit up the comment section on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Pardon me.
Yeah.
I think so many of I think I was reading or watching a video on YouTube. They were saying like Israel pays, they have people around the world,
Mm-hmm.
mostly members of the Jewish diaspora,
Mm-hmm.
who will be online in various countries and who will comment um, talking points from the Israeli government,
Right.
and they'll do it, in ways in native languages from the various countries, so that they seem like just your typical informed commenter saying something
Mm.
that promotes Israel or that debunks some perspective of Israel. So you'll find a lot of Indians doing that as well. They'll pay Indians to do it. And so somebody made a joke and said they do this in between working at the call center. And so
Yeah.
I think I haven't read any of the comments. I'm not a big comment reader, honestly,
Right.
because I just know that a lot of them are going to be BS, and some of it is going to be people just being very reactionary.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm expecting a lot of that, but it can't hurt to see if there's any substantive criticisms.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You,
And then we
you
gotta,
know,
I'd say, engage the enemy in battle. So and then like I mentioned, like you mentioned about the bots, about different agendas, where people will post these comments expecting people to not watch the video. They scroll straight to the comments, and then they just kind of make whatever perception based on the comments that most align with their opinion. So yeah, I get it. I'm not about obsessing over every comment or the negative, or I think it still makes for good content, makes for good dialogue. But we're really doing this for the ones that think they can just comment, say something crazy, and then we're not going to call them out on it. So now they're permanently immortalized in one of our videos where they call them out on their BS. So when you have this sort of tough love correction behavior, that may mean next time they may not comment like that. They may comment with a little more substance, or they may not comment at all because they know what we're going to call them out on. So yeah, so let's definitely let's go through this. We'll keep it brief as far as each of our reactions. We'll just keep it like our initial thoughts to the comment, and then we'll kind of go on from there. All right, hold on a second. My mouse is acting up. There we go. All right, here we go. And then also, this is something if you guys follow Dr. Eric Thomas as well as Andy Frisella at the Real AF podcast, this is something they do as well. So this isn't something we made up, but it's pretty entertaining. So here we go. All right, conspiracy brother, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. All right. At Gary H 3126, 4 hours ago. Trump's a racist. It's at your own peril. So in my mind, I just think, is this a bot or not? And just how shallow is that? Do you think that's Mossad right there? Do you think that's a Mossad bot? Conspiracy brother?
I mean, it could just be a DNC. It could be a DNC bot trying to parrot talking points, but they know people like you're saying that will just read the comments and then completely uh, run with those.
Hmm.
And then it could also be somebody who legitimately believes that is a truth that moves the needle.
Yeah.
Uh, like I've heard somebody say, "Oh, Trump's father was in the KKK," and it's like
Wow.
Joe Biden's mentor was a Klan leader,
Robert Byrd,
right? Strom
Dixiecrat.
Thurmond.
Yeah.
Strom Thurmond was one of Joe Biden's idols. And there's
Mm,
another one that was like a staunch racist. So it's like at best, if I just take it at face value, let's say Trump is a racist. At
mm,
best, what you would be saying is we have two racist options. You know what I'm saying?
hmm. Right.
So, I mean, my position is still secure. I'm telling you not to vote for Kamala Harris. And you could
Right.
say, oh, well, Kamala Harris is running, Joe Biden's not. But she co signed Joe Biden's presidency. She was willing to endorse him when she dropped out of running for president. She was willing to serve him as his vice president. She's willing to accept his endorsement now. So this is all a reflection of what I'm saying. At best, we've got two
Hmm.
racist options. So I mean that's
There you
irrelevant,
go.
and it's really, I mean I think this is made. This is a comment made by someone who either is not black and does not talk to black people, or it's made in bad faith, and they are a black person who's making this comment in bad faith, and they lack critical thinking skills. That's my, you know, you think.
All right. Yep. Oh no, I'm right there with you. Yeah. All right. So pretty much, good analysis there, debunking the silliness of that comment. All right. So next comment from Hurt the P. Wow. All right. Have any of y'all ever been a vice president of anything? You would understand that a vice president doesn't make presidential decisions. And I pray y'all not Haitians. So I'll kind of give my initial thoughts on that. This is the whole a talking point from the Democrats and the left that they're doing right now, where they love to kind of go and say, well, Kamala isn't in charge of she's just a placeholder. Vice president doesn't have any real power. Yet when you turn back the tape the last 2 to 4 years, you see that Joe Biden personally appointed Kamala to go to oversee the border to find the root cause of the border and fix the problem. She was also put in charge of like some space program, and then finally she was also in charge of other things as well. But at the same time, they like to act like, oh, she has no power, when there was clearly a list of receipts of agendas that she was assigned to do. And even, don't believe me, even Susan Rice, the former Obama and Biden advisor, basically said that her agenda, along with Joe Biden, they are one and the same. And she was given just as much power over some of these assignments during her 3.5 years, namely the border. So I think that is just something that they kind of like to throw in there and pretend like Kamala is basically kind of like that quote from I think Michael Scott from The Office show. Like, they like to take all the credit but get none of the blame. So these are people that are gatekeeping, defending Kamala as hard as they can, and somehow they want to give her credit for doing something where basically the economy and their work the last 3 years has left everything in the gutter. They want to take credit for something that wasn't done, and then they don't want to take any blame for when people are like, "Well, you were in office for 3.5 years along Biden. How come you didn't do anything?" So that's my initial thoughts. But conspiracy brother, what do you got for this guy?
Read their name. I don't think you said their name, so I feel like you know.
at at hurt the P. So I think
Okay,
we
so
might have an
maybe you did.
idea at hurt the P.
Have any of y'all ever been vice president of anything? I mean, so here's another. This could just be a brainlet, as Eric July calls them,
Hmm.
a brainlet here. Uh,
Hmm.
if being the vice president is such an unimportant job, why is she qualified to be president? If being a vice president is such a useless job, why is it important that Tim Walz is her running mate? Right? Um, but why is that valid? That I've been the vice president or not? I'm an American citizen. Being able to vote, being able to voice your opinion in this country is not contingent upon you having held that office before. Right? When we vote, when we all vote, we are voting for people because we think they're most qualified for the position. We're not voting on it based on our prior knowledge of how that position should operate. Right? That's not the prerequisite. Also, we are not Haitian. As
Hmm.
far as I know, every one of us panelists are FBA, B1, ADOS, Freedmen, descendants of Freedmen, however you want to call it.
Yes, sir.
So you don't have to pray that we're not Haitian. We are not Haitian. I don't understand why that matters. I don't know why that's relevant to anything either way.
Yeah.
It isn't like, I mean, if you want to be honest about it, Joe Biden is the reason that the country of Haiti is destabilized right now. The Clintons have a history of destabilizing Haiti, but the United States government has a history of destabilizing Haiti, uh, irrespective of the political party in power. So I don't know what your objective is by saying this, but Joe Biden is the reason Haiti is in the trouble it's in right now. He's responsible for, if he isn't directly responsible for their president being assassinated, which signs point to the U.S. government having a hand in it,
Hmm.
and the puppet they have in place right now, because they cannot have elections. The country is in such turmoil, they cannot have elections. Um, you know, if Joe Biden isn't directly responsible, he's indirectly responsible. He's responsible for the Kenyans being over there trying to essentially work as a paramilitary arm of the United States in Haiti. So miss me with all that. I don't understand what you mean by that. This is just somebody who's completely misinformed or uninformed, and I don't know what the point they're trying to make. So
Exactly. They have no point at
hurt
all. So
hurt the P. I
at hurt the
think
P.
P must be I don't know. I was gonna say P might be a euphemism for your brain because it's the size of a P. But I
P
don't know.
brain. Yep.
Right.
That sounds about right. All right, this guy, Vincent Gallimore, 96926. He's commented several times. Let's actually knock all of his out. So Vincent Gallimore,
Well,
6926.
let's
Hmm?
first let's say we
Mhm.
appreciate Vince Gallimore for taking time out of his life to watch and comment on our
Yeah.
video. We appreciate the traffic. We appreciate the engagement. We hope you shared it. We hope you liked it. We
Hmm.
even hope you disliked it. It doesn't matter. We hope you subscribed. We hope you hate watch. Thanks.
Yeah, we appreciate the attention. And yeah, and once again, we're all about free speech. We're not sitting here deleting comments, reporting anybody. But yeah, we will definitely, put comments, good or bad, out there, and then we have the right, just have the free speech right to comment. We have the free speech right to kind of, go through and give our own response to it. So Vincent Gallimore 6926, Miss Gina, have you ever seen 45 speak? He spout utter nonsense and is on record telling multiple lies a day. And you do realize that they're talking about taking away your voting rights. Rev, you can't use a morality argument when your candidate is a sexual predator. And then finally, Vincent Gallimore 6926. But the adulterer, trick, rapist, 6-time bankrupt, habitual liar, felon, wannabe dictator is qualified. Just say that you're voting for 45 and keep it moving. All right. And yeah, at least for me, I am voting for Trump 45, 47 all day. But I think this is just very funny how this is a typical Trump derangement syndrome. You watch CNN, MSNBC, you've bought the establishment narrative. A lot of these things have been debunked. I'll tell you one thing, Vincent. If Trump was going to take our voting rights away as black people, why didn't he do that his whole first term? His whole first term, 4 years in office, did you lose any rights as African American? And I would also say too that he's also buying into this whole E. Jean Carroll nonsense. Where if you remember, Vincent, that they the state of New York changed the entire. They brought in this entire new law. I forgot what it's called. There was like a new statute. We're saying for like a period of a year, there's no longer a statute of limitations. So this corrupt government that you hold in such high regard, you believe every single thing they say. They brought back they took they rewind back a statute of limitations just to go after Trump. I think they're also going after Eric Adams with that as well, probably Diddy. But they did it mainly for Trump. This is a lady who 30, 40 years ago said that I think 30 years, like late 80s, that she met this guy. They went to the top floor of this fancy department store, and he somehow raped her in a stall where he had his own penthouse just a building down. And there's no evidence, no physical evidence, obviously. You see E.G. Carroll get an $80 million payout, and she's bragging about spending it on a yacht. She's joking with Anderson Cooper about how rape is sexy and hot. This lady's clearly isn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't bank on her credibility to save my life. But what you have is useful idiots that will happily do what they can, make up what they can to get paid. So I think for you, I would just look at, are you really just believing whatever horse manure they're feeding you? Because it seems like you just sit in front of the TV and just believe all this stuff. And it's been debunked several times. We debunk things on this show. But conspiracy brother, you go right ahead.
Kind of in the same vein of what you said, right? Um, if you think about what he said, he's going to take away our voting rights, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm shaking. I'm so scared.
Why hasn't Biden been able to do something, or why didn't Obama in the first 2 years when he had a supermajority? Why didn't these people have the opportunity to protect our voting rights in a way that was completely rock solid and untouchable? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the weird thing. I don't understand why they believe this. I don't understand why they hold on to this nonsense talking points. that isn't true. It isn't possible. Nobody's taking away our voting rights. But it's really a movement of the goalposts, right? Because you see, like, he's a sexual predator. Tara
Oh,
Reid credibly accused Joe Biden of sexual assault, reported it at the time 30 years ago. She was either moved or quit or something like that, her job working in the Senate. And they even found footage of her mother contacting Larry King about it on his show. And everybody was fine voting for Joe Biden. Everybody was fine with Clinton. Everybody's fine with Clinton walking around showing his face everywhere. So it's just a hypocrisy, right? An adulterer. I mean, that isn't a crime. It might be immoral, but it isn't a crime. I don't know what a trick is. I don't know what he means specifically about being a trick.
I'm
I know
also
what
going to call
that
out
means.
him saying, "Oh, 6 times bankrupt." Do you know how many entrepreneurs go bankrupt? They start a business, it fails, they take that, turn it into something else. So
Wait,
you got no smoke for all the other entrepreneurs that have gone bankrupt. They go on to build something bigger. But Trump, oh, he went bankrupt, so he must have did something wrong. But anyway, spiritual brother.
well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know every president, but I mean, the most famous president that I know of that went bankrupt was Abraham Lincoln. That's like he had 2 businesses that failed before he got into politics. And that was always considered like a sign that, you just have to keep going. So yeah, that's weird. Going bankrupt isn't a crime. Being a habitual liar, if anything, is a condition of employment if you're a politician. So what you're saying is Trump is overqualified for this job. Want to be dictator? That's funny coming from a person who supported people, who forced people to stay home, forced people to get vaccinated, forced people to wear masks, forced people to stay away from their family, right? That's funny to call somebody a dictator. Censored them online, right?
Yeah, you got no smoke for that. You got no smoke for
Complete,
that.
right. And so, just say you're voting for 45 and keep it. I mean, some of the people on the panel were, but whether they decided to tell you or not, or whether they just wanted to say what they were saying, like, we live in a country where we are allowed with the First Amendment to say what we want. And just, I went on his page since you are going through these comments. I kind of, since he's got a picture up, I wanted to look at him and see. So I went on his page and he's got a video up. And, he seems like just a typically misinformed individual. Like one of the worst types of misinformed, because he believes he is informed.
Yeah,
So
that's
he doesn't
worse.
even have the opportunity to acknowledge that he doesn't know anything.
He doesn't know what he doesn't know.
Right. He doesn't know that he doesn't know. He's completely oblivious to the fact that he is completely out of his depth. But again, it's a free country, so you have the right to say this on our channel. You have the right to hold the views you have, and we have the right to say that your points are illogical, right?
Yeah, win-win.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, moving on. I need a new battery for my mouse. All right. Okay, next we got. All right. At Fridley, when will the next call be? We'll love to join. Okay. All right. Well, Fridley, we're going to be having our. I was going to announce this on the show a little later, but yeah, we're having our next uh, Not for Harris call. We officially decided next Sunday, the 20th. So we're gonna, post it. We're gonna probably have a Zoom webinar, like we did before. At Fridley, I don't know if you can maybe get in touch with us. You can send an email to uncomfytruths, I think 22 at gmail.com. So if you want to learn more about maybe getting on, we could, I don't know about this time around, but we're open for collaboration. Yeah, you can reach out to uncomfytruths 22 at gmail.com. I don't know if we have a spot available for next Sunday, but yeah, that's when our next call is going to be. Yeah, thanks for that. All right, next we got YAF 1771 or conspiracy. But anything you want to add to this for Fridley?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're watching, yeah, like you said, just try to reach out, contact us. I think we have our email in the description or somewhere on our about section on the YouTube. But maybe we can set that up. At least one
Yeah,
of
you know
our
what?
next panels.
Hmm.
Well, you can reply.
Yeah, might as well right now.
Yeah.
Sure. Next one, Sunday, 10:20, and reach out to us at Uncomfy Truths. Yep. So, all right, Fridley, appreciate that. All right, cool. All right, now we got Waif, but you are here against Harris. Are you also going to host a session as to why you're against Trump? And then I don't know if there's who's replying to this. Uh, and somebody said straight black Psi 5272 no. So maybe they're assuming we weren't going to do one. But yeah, I'll say really quick, I'm more on the conservative side and I am voting Trump personally. So I'm not opposed to it. I'm actually going to be doing a video right before the election day, post legitimate reasons not to vote for Trump. And I'm going to break down a lot of the things from the establishment things, from him supporting a coup in Bolivia to him having a financial interest in Pfizer. There's things about Trump that, you know, I don't like. I'm still voting for the guy, but I still think that it's worth going through legitimate reasons why a person shouldn't vote for Trump and not the BS MSNBC fear mongering reasons. Because once you discover the real reasons, legit reasons not to vote for Trump, you realize Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, Obama, they're all guilty of the same thing, if not more. So I'm not against hosting a session. Honestly, I don't think I'll be any good as a panelist. I'm open to supporting doing that, but obviously, I'm not going to be. I'm for Trump personally. But yeah, conspiracy brother. If you had a comment on
Well,
this,
I have to be completely honest. I want the Democratic Party to go the way of the Whigs. So, no, I have no interest in that. If you want to know why not to vote for Trump, watch MSNBC or CNN or um, any of the other liberal news channels. You have
yeah,
enough of
for
your.
the fake reasons.
But I'm saying that's the reasons you want. Like, I could give you legitimate reasons what to vote for the Green Party, right?
Hmm.
Or something. If that's what you want, I could do that. You can look on my channel. I'll look underneath with Conspiracy Brother. I go into a lot of detail with that. Maybe I could comment and link to that. But as far as looking for specific criticisms of Trump, or why we don't do that more on this channel or whatever, I just personally, when if Trump becomes president, I have no problem 100% tearing him down. But my interest is that the Democratic Party ceases to exist. And I think they're the greatest threat to the Black community. And not because I don't think the Republican Party has done bad things to the Black community. I don't think Bush was a good guy. I don't think Reagan was a good guy, right?
Hmm.
But I don't think most Black people think Bush and Reagan were good guys either. So it's not like I'm telling you something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, why is there more footage, or why would a person need to tell you, uh, to be more careful about drinking too much water when it's hot outside? Then I would need to tell you not to put your hand in a fire. You know what I'm saying? You know not to put your hand in a fire, but you might not know that you can die from drinking too much water, even if you're very hot and thirsty. And so that's the thing that, what I try to focus on from my criticism. I have legitimate criticism of Trump, as you said.
Hmm.
Um, Killing of Qasem Soleimani, which, uh, you know, I think America does not have the right to perform extrajudicial killings of sovereign territory that we don't control or own or whatever, because we feel like it. You know, that could have very easily escalated into a war, and it didn't. I'm not a fan of the Trump tax cuts because I think ultimately the tax cuts are always going to trickle down the what do you call it? Well, I guess I'll put it like this. Prior to all the money we've given to Israel and Ukraine, I would say that all the tax cuts that we give to the rich and the wealthy would fall, the burden of funding things will fall on the backs of the working class and the poor. But I mean, since we can apparently just print money for nothing for any reason, it doesn't matter. I don't know. Maybe we could just all stop paying taxes and just keep getting stuff, because apparently Israel gets stuff and they don't pay taxes, and Ukraine gets stuff and they don't pay taxes. So maybe I need to rethink some of these things. And so, I don't know. I'm a thinking, evolving individual who is always trying to be on a quest for truth, but with new information in light of new thoughts and ideas, my thinking changes. So I mean, I guess we could do a panel of why you are against Trump, but it says why you are for Trump or against Trump.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the funny part right there. Like, it's the whole argument. Like, as soon as you have any criticism of Democrats, Kamala or Biden,
Yeah.
like, oh well, so you're a Trump supporter, you're gonna vote for Trump. So why is that all of a sudden meaning I'm voting for Trump only? Whether, like you mentioned, whether it's the Green Party or Independent, or Cornel West, RFK. So I would just say, like I said, YA feed 1771. We appreciate your comments. We're not about
Yeah.
being disrespectful or trying to censor or delete a comment. But if you want to subscribe to my channel at Conservative Brother Daily, I am going to be releasing a legit reasons not to vote for Trump. All right, even though I'm voting for Trump, these are legit reasons, not your CNN, MSNBC, where I will go over line item wise the things that I'm concerned for about Trump. And once again, you'll see that Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, a lot of the Democrats are guilty of the same thing. You know, so I'll just kind of leave it at that.
Yeah, and I guess if you want to subscribe to or look underneath the Conspiracy Brother and see some of the content that I make, again, I don't subscribe to the duopoly, but I am much more invested in the failure of the Democratic Party. So I'm not going to do anything to help the Democrats to win in any way. I'm done with them. I'm tired of their BS, and I'm not going to apologize for that. So
very based. All right. Next, we got at Paul Lawson. At Paul Lawson, I'm confused. Is this a Black Fox News panel? All of you saying the crap that's being said on false news. Okay, so I guess that's a pun for Fox News. First, please pronounce her name right. A lot. Okay, so all right, Paul. I appreciate your comment, even though we're about to rip into it. So once again, any black people that has an opinion that isn't pro-Democrat, that isn't on the Kamala train, is all of a sudden Fox News. For the record, I don't watch Fox News. I don't have a subscription. I'm not watching Hannity or Jesse Waters, any of those guys. Once you start doing real research and not just going to the outlets you like that reinforce your cognitive bias, then you'll realize that you're actually the one that's being fed the false news, my friend. We can kind of take this a lot of different directions. And no, Kamala's not black or for the community. So I'll say Kamala, Kamola. You know, I get the whole sister girl. Oh, how dare you pronounce her name wrong? Well, she ain't a sister of mine. So I'll pronounce her name any way I run. But I appreciate the comment. Paul Lawson, 7384. Conspiracy Brother.
yeah, I'll never say her name right, and the more people say anything about pronouncing her name right, I'm going to just continue to say it more and more incorrect.
Oh yeah,
because I don't care and it doesn't matter. She did an interview with Dana Bash from CNN, and she said Dana Bash's name wrong. Okay, nobody cares. Michael Harriot was on CNN with what's her name, Abby Phillips, and he
Mm-hmm.
said Kamala's name wrong. Nobody cared.
No
Okay,
smoke.
nobody cares.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg said Kamala Harris's name wrong. Nobody cares. Eric Adams, I think he says her name wrong all the time. Nobody cares. Okay? Nobody cares. People say my name wrong all the time, and it's an English name. My name isn't Indian. It's not Hindi. Okay? Would you prefer I call her Lotus Flower? That's what it translates to. Would you prefer that? I don't care. I'll never care. I would call her worse, but my dad asked me to stop cussing so much. Okay? I would call her much worse. Trust. I would call her much worse. But the best you're going to get out of me is Kamala. Okay? I'll call her the same name that we call the girl who plays Wonder Woman, not Wonder Woman, Miss Marvel, and that new Miss Marvel. Her name is Kamala Khan, right? Or that wrestler, Kamala. Remember him?
Mm.
So, no, I don't care. Her name is Kamala. If she doesn't like it, too
Tough shit.
bad. Everybody in the world has had their name mispronounced. My wife doesn't, her grandmother mispronounces her name. Her own grandmother. Okay? I don't care. There you go.
Facts. Big facts. All right. All right. Next, we got at David McLeod, 1098. You can kind of tell there are some Assad bots or something going on. They got the same, no profile pic, the numbers at the end, But all right, you got David McLeod here. At least he has a photo up. David McLeod, 1098 in 1927, or was it 1929? I don't know. Maybe you should fact check that, David. Trump's dad was arrested at a KKK rally. Donald Trump was groomed in the segregation era to become the man he is today. I get the idea of voters' choice, but I can't, with a clear conscience, vote on the same side as the Proud Boys or KKK. Definitely can't vote for someone who had a huge part of January 6th. It's unavoidable. Some of us are going to be on the wrong side of history when this is over. And David, I regret to inform you that's you. Once again, to address your comment, I don't know. I haven't heard of any sort of things about his dad being arrested at some KKK rally. But well, you to say you can't vote on the same side of the KKK, I hope you realize that the Republican Party was founded as the anti-slavery party. It was the Democrats or Dixiecrats, by and large majority in the South, that owned slaves and this is very grade school level education I'm giving you. But it was the Democrats who majority owned slaves and wanted to continue the slave trade. It was the Republican Party, co-founded by abolitionists, including Frederick Douglass, who began toting getting rid of slavery. And it was post-slavery 1860s where the first eight, I believe it was the senators or congressmen appointed to, I think Congress or the Senate, were eight black Republicans. And guess what? Even as we continue into Jim Crow, the 1900s, the Civil Rights Act, and Byron Donalds talked about this on the Breakfast Club. The Civil Rights Act in 1964 was the fourth attempt at giving civil rights to black people. The other three attempts between the 20s and the 60s was all filibustered and put off by, guess what? Democrats. And it was the Democrats that finally that tried to filibuster the bill for the Civil Rights Act. It passed, and then Lyndon B. Johnson and the Democrats decided, hey, we can have them niggas voting for us for 200 years. And also, too, David, there was no big switch. Robert Byrd, who conspiracy brother you mentioned earlier, was a mentor to Joe Biden and was like a lawyer advisor to the Klan. He remained I think a Democratic senator, if I'm not confusing positions. To the day he died, he was a Democrat. I will admit that Richard Nixon in the 60s, he did try and reach out to Southern Democrats or Dixiecrats to swoon them to be part of the Republican vote, and that kind of helped him toward getting elected, or not the first time, but when he got elected in the 70s. So I just see a whole lot of David, just basic history of the Democrat Party and how they started the KKK. They fought tooth and nail to not give us the civil rights. And when it finally passed, they decided, okay, we're going to bring in the welfare program, take the mother out of the home to incentivize the father being out of it. And they've clearly done more to the black community. January 6th, I, conspiracy brother, you go ahead. I'll talk about maybe J6 later.
All
But
right, I'm
this
gonna share
comment
my
really
screen.
shows you all you need to know about his level of education on
I'm
the
gonna share
political
my screen
parties.
right quick. I'll
All
just
right.
pull up something. And you'll
Okay.
say, "Oh, but
Want me to stop
Kamala's
sharing?
running." Nope, nope, you don't
Oh,
need to.
okay.
But you'll say, "Oh, Kamala's running, not Joe Biden," and I'll say nothing because my dad asked me not to cuss. Okay,
Mm,
so this is a picture of Joe Biden and Strom Thurmond. Okay, this is from the Washington Post in 2020 by a man making excuses, David Von Dreckley. I don't know. And it says, this is from 2003, he's recalling. He says, if Thurman got into heaven that day, the Almighty grades on a very generous curve, which I, for one, hope that he does. So even this guy, I don't know, I don't know if Joe Biden says this,
mm,
but so no, I don't know who's saying this quote. Oh no, the writer's saying this.
mm,
So it says, let me just start it from the beginning. So I have only a memory of being sent that July to cover the funeral in Columbia, South Carolina of Strom Thurmond, the centenarian U.S. senator whose labors in defense of racial segregation made him a key figure of 20th century history, even as his lechery made him notorious for sexual harassment in the Capitol, at a time when that really took some doing. If Thurman got into heaven that day, the Almighty grades on a very generous curve, which I, for one, hope that he does. So imagine, though, because they're trying to be all poetic, but imagine saying that you hope God grades on a curve, uh, for Strom
mm.
Thurmond, when
Right.
I guess the illusion is that you're looking at it for yourself, right? You're looking at that for yourself. What could you have done that you think Strom Thurmond needed to be graded on a curve to get into heaven, but you could
Mm,
say that yours is an equal measure terribleness, that you wouldn't be able to just get to heaven on your own merit? That's strange. And I feel like when people try to be overly poetic, they don't understand how head ass they sound. You know what I'm saying? Do you get what I
oh
mean?
yeah.
When
Hmm.
I say head ass, okay, so let's see. What I recall with crystalline clarity is that Senator Joseph R. Biden Jr. of Delaware was Thurman's hand-picked eulogist. Quote, I think this is his last laugh, end quote. Biden said of the seemingly incongruous assignment, quote, for what else could explain a Northeast liberal's presence here, end quote. Okay. Uh, he raped, when he was like 21, he raped a 16-year-old black woman, a black girl. She
Mm,
was like a maid at his house and had a child with her. And um, he paid for the girl to go to school and everything, but she was not allowed to tell people that he was her father until after he died. And I believe she's still alive. Um, so it says the braying white supremacist who tried to sink Harry S. Truman in 1948 because Truman embraced desegregation, the racist who signed the Southern Manifesto against civil rights and delivered a record filibuster against a modest measure of justice. The politician who personified the regional alignment of parties over race in America, the man who hid his parentage of a mixed race child for decades. This man chose Joe Biden to speak over his casket. I wonder why.
Ooh.
Okay. So let me see this other article just to. So how did Strom Thurmond last through his 24-hour filibuster? This is from 2013. It's NPR.
Mm-hmm.
As he ended his nearly 13-hour filibuster early Thursday, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky indirectly said it was nature's call that forced him to stop talking. Quote, I would try to go another 12 hours and try to break Strom Thurmond's record, but there are some limits to filibustering, and I'm going to have to go and take care of one of those here, end quote, he said. The record-long filibuster is the 1957 Talk Fest by then Democrat Senator Strom Thurmond of South Carolina. He lasted for 24 hours and 18 minutes. A piece by Vanity Fair today led us to two accounts that explain how he made it through that marathon attempt to block civil rights legislation. So that's what he was doing for 24 hours and 18 minutes. He spoke to try to make sure that there was no civil rights legislation passed in 1957. He ultimately failed, but that's what he was doing. That's who Joe Biden eulogized. He even tried to say they weren't so bad or something. They used to call him boy when he was young and stuff, and like trying to say that it was there was a third senator too. But let's look at this guy here. This is
Yeah, and once again, David, because once again you're wondering like how could you accuse us of voting on the same side as the Proud Boys or the KKK? KKK, you're correct. But yeah, continue, conspiracy brother.
Yeah. So let's see. This is from USA Today, and here it is. It's a picture of Joe Biden. Here's Robert Byrd, Joe Manchin. Robert Byrd was the senator from West Virginia. Joe Manchin, the senator from West Virginia. Joe Biden from Delaware. And it says fact check. So this is a fact check. Listen to this fact check. Listen to this fact check.
Ooh.
Fact check. Photo shows Joe Biden with Byrd, who once had ties. He didn't have ties. He was a member of the KKK, but wasn't a Grand Wizard.
Yeah, well, thank God, conspiracy brother. Oh my God, he wasn't a Grand Wizard. He was in it.
No,
but he wasn't a Grand Wizard.
He wasn't a Grand Wizard. He was a Grand Dragon. But a photo circulating on Facebook and Instagram claims to depict former Vice President Joe Biden with a Grand Wizard of the KKK. Biden with Grand Wizard of KKK. So who again is playing you, lying to you, using you for the votes? Creators of the KKK oppose civil rights of blacks. Yep, that's the Democratic Party. The text above the image reads. The image posted, so it shows Robert Byrd, Democrat of West Virginia, who was circled in red as the alleged KKK Grand Wizard. The user who shared the post in response to a comment, it says Byrd was not a Grand Wizard, but he did once lead a chapter. Yeah, okay. This picture of Biden and Byrd was taken by Associated Press in 2008 at a campaign rally in Charleston for Senator Barack Obama. Byrd grew up in West Virginia, which is where he got involved in the KKK. Many of the best people were members, even senators and other high officials. I guess he was just following along. He wrote in his autobiography, quote, "It was with such background impressions, therefore, that I sought to become a member of the KKK in the early 40s, end quote. He recounted in his autobiography that at the time he wrote a letter to Joel L. Baskin, the Klan's Grand Dragon in his area, asking to join in order to start a Klan chapter or, quote, clavern, end quote, in his town. Byrd was tasked with recruiting 150 people to the Klan. When he involved enough people to start a clavern, a unanimous vote among the recruits, it named him the, quote, exalted Cyclops, end quote, of their group, which is the highest ranking position in the chapter. After meeting, Byrd said that Baskin encouraged him to pursue politics, citing his savvy organizing skills. So here's everybody together again: Joe Manchin, Robert Byrd, Joe Biden, and I don't know if that's that's Senator Jay Rockefeller back here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Joe Manchin was the governor. So here he is when he was just the governor. Joe Manchin is the Democratic governor. I mean, the Democratic senator whose daughter is over that company, or she was, I don't know if she still is, that made EpiPens. when EpiPens went from being like $35 or $70 per pen to like $3,500. That's him. That's his daughter. Byrd went on to become the second longest serving U.S. congressman in the country's history, clocking 6 years in the House of Representatives and 51 years in the Senate. During his time in the Senate, he was both the minority and majority leader, and the chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriations. Okay, so here you go. So I guess he wasn't a grand dragon. He was just a grand cyclops.
Oh, well, thank heavens, conspiracy brother. So I appreciate that breakdown.
So there you go. Paul, or whatever he said his name was. I guess you
David.
Don't have a party to vote for then, because they're both Klan members.
Yes, sir. And I think this dovetails perfectly. The January 6th, that's been debunked. There's definitely there were multiple feds at J6. It was mainly, there was one side of the building where the riot got a little out of control. But I never heard of an insurrection, David McLeod, where they go to the Capitol with no guns. I never heard of an unarmed insurrection. I never heard of an insurrection where a president can legally contest an election and ask for a recount. I never heard of a committee where they could have 5 Democrats, 1 or 2 Rhino Republicans, where they have no cross witnesses, where they don't allow any of the other side to speak. So I could just tell, and this kind of dovetails into this next comment. You really need to learn your history, brother. We appreciate your comment. We appreciate the free attention. Every comment, good or bad, pushes us in the algorithm, and we get more eyeballs. So we're not going to, once again, we don't censor, we don't delete. But thanks, and you just need to realize what side of history you're actually on, brother, and learn the history of your actual party. So I think this kind of dovetails this guy, Tom Henshaw, 552. No photo, numbers at the end. A lot of these seem pretty bottish. My bros, MAGA hates black people as much as they hate trans people. People are going to study you guys in history classes to write essays on how stupid you are. You disgrace your ancestors who fought for your freedom. Your personality disorder isn't a race. I hope you don't have to learn the hard way. So definitely kind of has some white liberal vibes. Like I know conspiracy brother, you mentioned about when Democrats encounter a black person they don't like, they go from Leonardo DiCaprio in The Great Gatsby to the slave owner in Django. So that really does have kind of a white liberal talking down to. But I think this dovetails perfectly with what you said. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know the history, and it's really reversed, my guy. But conspiracy brother, if you had anything else to add, I think your explanation in the Strom Thurmond dovetails into this answer. I think you killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
Well, yeah, but I'll add a little bit more.
Yeah.
My ancestors, what did they say? You disgrace your ancestors? That was what it said, right? You disgrace your ancestors who fought for your freedom. Okay. My ancestors, who probably been in this country longer than yours, fought because racists like you didn't think they had the autonomy to be full human beings and citizens of a country they built for free. That's why they fought. They didn't fight for freedom. They fought because racist individuals like you did not believe they possessed the ability for self-governance and bodily autonomy like white people. Because I guarantee you don't go to white people's Facebook, YouTube pages and tell them their ancestors would be disgraced who came over here from Europe that they're Republicans. I guarantee you don't. Oh. Tell them they have personality disorders. I guarantee you don't. Tell them that MAGA hates European immigrants. Right? This is the issue. You white liberals are too comfortable talking to black people any kind of way. And you really need to get your faces beat in. Honestly.
and I'm trying not to cuss, so I didn't cuss.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really what needs to happen. You really need to get your faces beat in because you don't understand that you all are not in a position where you should feel so comfortable to talk to people you don't know because they have a different political ideology than you do. That's honestly the truth. You're a racist. That's the truth. Whatever you think, because you have some slogans or because you think you're voting for Kamala Harris or whatever, you're a racist. You're doing this, what do they call that? Performative virtue.
Virtue signaling.
So that you could, yeah. So that you can appear to not be a racist. But you're a racist. You're the racist. You're the actual racist.
And everybody can tell. It's obvious. You're telling yourself. We're exposing you right now, Tom.
So, yeah.
All right. And once again, Tom Henshaw, 552, whether you're a bot or just a white liberal, don't know any better. Thanks for the free attention in the comment. All right, next we got, this has to probably be a bot. We appreciate more of this free attention. You know, the more comments we get, the higher we get on the algorithm, as silly as they are. So from Ellen Yaneza, 175, green dumbass, you got backwards. Has Trump mentioned what his plan? You need to learn your grammar. And yeah, and I'll even comment on this. If you go to his website, Ellen, if you know how to use a computer, and look up Agenda 47, his agenda is right on the website. So I know you people just need to go to MSNBC and get told on how scary Project 2025 is, but it's really simple. When we see someone running for office, you Google their name, you go to their website, and they usually lay out what's called a policy plan, not on their website. You don't have to wait to see what MSNBC tells you. So as far as has Trump mentioned what his plan, it's Agenda 47, and it's right on his website. All right. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to read them all, but surely you should be able to read and go look that up yourself. All right. Black people are in for a ride. Are in for a ride. Laughing emojis. This people joke offline. Yeah, we joke about you. Um, this black group Trump support. Group
This
Black
can't be a real
Nuts.
person.
It's not, but I just think this is hilarious. So think Trump. Yeah, this is a little bot malfunction. They got to work on that autocorrect. Conspiracy brother. This is very entertaining.
Yeah, I mean,
but,
yeah, that's
not
like
much.
it's either like what I was saying, like an Indian bot or something, or
Yeah, they need
bad AI, because that's crazy.
Yeah, it's really y'all gotta step your game up, man. Y'all gotta step your game up. Okay, here we go. All right, next we have Neva Montford 49. Oh Lord. All right, Neva Montford 4914. What's crazy is how she is being spoken against when the orange dude practically bankrupted the country. He has dozens of failed businesses and ruined Atlantic City. So let's go over that first tip. So, how did he bankrupt the country when we had $1 trillion something deficit before he took office? I think what you're mentioning, Neva Montfort, we appreciate your comment, but we have every right to put you on blast. Um, he was told to shut the country down from Fauci, all the pressure, but he gave the individual states and their governors authority on whether to shut down or stay open. So the fact that once again you can't even pronounce the fact, oh, he practically bankrupted the country, just shows how little you know. And then once again, the fact that he's had failed businesses, and him having one casino that closed in Atlantic City doesn't ruin a city. But we'll continue. It's going to take years to lower the triple deficit, but she is the unqualified one. She is literally just a placeholder for the press. So here goes that narrative again when they have no arguments to Kamala's competence, her accomplishments, her qualifications. They just say, well, she's a placeholder anyway. You know, that's it. When y'all want to jump between her legs, then y'all want to jump between her legs, yet Agent Orange has cases against him. Um, and once again, we already went over the whole lawfare and how it's very political. But you have such a subservient appeal to authority. You think anything in Biden DOJ is anything the charges are being brought against him, you just think, oh, he must be guilty. You have a guilty first, innocent later mentality, and you automatically basically believe any case against him has to be legit. I bet that woman will stop smiling and go gray like Obama did. The world stage doesn't even want to deal with Orange because he is so arrogant. No wonder why I stopped going to church. Seems like the majority of pastors act just like him. To say she hasn't said what she's going to do, y'all haven't been listening. The Forum of the Black Journalist, she gave many points, way better than Agent Orange did. Oh, and for the record, abortions were performed in the Bible. Look up belly swell and thigh rot, parse it out. If a woman was guilty of it, so clearly she's kind of conspiracy brother going all over the place. I don't know if she watched the whole webinar. She watched a few minutes. She may have watched the entire thing. But when you don't have a coherent point where you're jumping from here to there to here, kind of tells me a whole lot. Um, the priest would perform their ritual, and guess what? That baby came out. If she wasn't guilty, she would then be blessed with a child. My mom taught me something that she learned in civics class. Your freedom ends where mine begins. If a woman chooses to have an abortion, that is between her and her doctor and God. You allow your rights. I love they just assume like we have all these Republican far right views. You allow your rights to be taken away one issue at a time. Yet that woman's abortion has no bearing on anyone but her. If you wanted to know policy, go to her website. Oh yeah, where they just added it a few weeks ago, and half of it she stole from Trump. The NWO is going to play about regardless. The orders you say she follows are the same ones Orange follow. Y'all are just defaming her character. Taxes have to be raised because Orange, see, because Orange, uh, because see here, lost my spot. Because Orange gave out money to his friends and placated the rest of us. Trump is the one bad for business. Oh, and how can we talk? How can we forget? He is a G rapist, criminal, only using the selection via electoral college to stay out of jail. Oh snap! Sounds like a average black man, huh? See how that works? Agent Orange is gonna try and send y'all back to Africa. Like y'all give a damn about bumped off babies. Him because he damn sure don't. Say hello to even worse urban schools while all the white, I think she meant the white man, all the white man's children go to prestigious ones. Can't wait for him to take away all the agencies set up. Oh, forget about it. The bread already tastes like bleach and banned in other countries. FDA, because I'm just assuming this is how you talk, because this is just so ignorant, Neva. But FDA ain't doing their job, I guess. All the money will go to the war machine, prisons, and his friends, and his pocket. At least Kamala has some sense of equality for all. As for the border, the world will just sit back and watch the U.S. implode. Immigrants will continue to work the jobs no one else wants. What did Agent Orange call them? Oh yeah, black jobs. The fuck. So, God, I just lost about 5, 10 brain cells reading all that, conspiracy brother. I think just reading this alone just exposes just how ignorant she is. But conspiracy brother, if you got anything, you know,
I mean, honestly,
I feel a lot dumber right now just reading that.
yeah, I was gonna say I give you props for even reading that because I
Yeah.
would have stopped.
Uh,
But so all I would have said was TLDR. But it's just I'm sure she really believes this. So I'm
Yeah,
sure this is a real person. This isn't a bot.
yeah,
This is a
she
person
being
who really
honest.
believes it.
Yeah,
But this is what happens. You have people who believe that whatever they hear, um, it's sad that she really jumped. I mean, she wrote all this stuff.
yeah, it was
It's
therapeutic. She was just getting it all out. You know,
yeah, it's
sure.
like diarrhea of the mouth or the
Yeah.
mind or whatever. But
Mm.
I'll just say, um, I don't know. You get to vote. We live in a country where you get to vote and I get to vote, and it is what it is.
Hmm.
You are just as legally allowed to vote as I am,
Sadly.
and that makes me sad. But I also understand that that is what makes America a unique and special place, and it is what it is. But um, I want to be. And when you say send y'all, so she might not even be black because she says send y'all back to Africa. And so maybe this is a bot because what do you mean send y'all? You're black by the profile picture. So what do you
Yeah,
mean? You see
you
what
would
I'm
be getting
saying?
sent back with us. Like if it was like this is gonna send us back to Africa.
I
Then
don't
again, her
I don't
grammar doesn't
understand
seem very strong here.
I don't understand why this argument is continues to be made. Because how are you going to deport somebody back to Africa who isn't from Africa? So it wouldn't be back to, it'd be from. I mean, it would just be to. You deport
Yeah, I've
somebody
never been
to
to
Africa.
Africa.
I ain't never even been to like a little Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like a place where there's a bunch of African immigrants congregate. I've never even been to a place like that. So I really don't know. I don't know why they say stuff like this. But again, I'll end it with this woman, if she's real, if she is really a black woman, I cannot tell because
Mm,
she says y'all instead of us, which is weird.
yeah.
But and white liberals have it is not above them to pretend to be black people online. Look up the K Hive from 2020. They have it's notorious that a lot of the people who were in the K Hive in 2020 and 2019, Kamala Harris supporters were gay white dudes.
Mm,
But it's just you get to vote. You get to vote just like I get to vote. And I feel like if it wasn't for the racist way that tests were implemented back in the day, we could have tests to make sure people were smart enough to be able to vote. But
mm,
racists messed that up. And so now you get to vote. So there we go.
yep. And there's millions of people probably like this if she's real, walking them around the earth. All right, so okay, at Neva Montford 4914, you've just been yeah, just been dealt with. All right, next comment at the mind of the beholder 13. During the opening statement, each of the members' positions on why she is or why not she is not qualified, competent to hold such a position as the presidency, her unacceptable prosecutorial record, her unethical handling of legal cases disproportionately affecting Black Americans, her question at the very least moral issues as they pertain to the Black community, her puppetry for a party that has gotten the Black vote overwhelmingly for 60 years while willfully not delivering on anything that would be meaningfully justify the extent of support blacks have given the party. But people, come on now. What about the one issue neither member mentioned during their opening statements? The wide open borders disproportionately hurting the black community. If this one issue is not given the scrutiny it merits, then all the other issues would hardly matter because America there once was pre Biden Harris administration will no longer be. And because that crucial issue failed to even be mentioned in each of the members' opening statements, I could not watch any further. My apologies, because I think all at least mean well. Okay, well, at Mind of the Beholder 13, that's fair. I did have a chance to look back at the webinar. I guess, yeah, there was no one that actually said that specifically. But as you go through the rest of the webinar, we did bring up illegal immigration, its impact on the Black community several times through the open border process, Kamala wanting to give them pathways to citizenship. We are well aware of the open border policy. So I would just suggest, once again, at Mind of the Beholder 13, watch the entire webinar. We touch on immigration several times. And also, even here on Uncomfy Truths, we've had whole episodes where we talked about the border and the gangs taking over. But yeah, I mean, I guess maybe sometimes we miss a talking point or two in the opening statement. But overall, we did talk about that. And we do think that is a very serious issue. Definitely top three, if not the most, at the most important. Conspiracy brother? I think that's a fair comment.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, that's an explanation of what's most important to us in our community, and that would be most important.
You're breaking up a bit. Kind of hard to. You sound muffled. Hello?
Is this better?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So what I was saying is, you know, when we're being asked to give examples that are important to us, we pick topics that had a longer, at least in my opinion, most of the things we talked about that stood out most quickly for us are things that happened over the course of her career. The border issue is something that is far more recent. And so while it might be important, when you think about things that are a problem, you think about the things that have been a problem for longer first, because they have a much longer impact. And so it is what it is. I mean, if you join the panel and the next time we do one and you have, you know, the border as one of the top issues that is your concern, you are more than welcome to give your opinion on that. So,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, and I think it's a real top issue. But once again, at Mind of the Beholder, watch the entire webinar. We do touch on that, and I do think it's a pretty high issue. But once again, you're welcome to do your own webinar and mention it in your opening statement as well. But thanks for the comment. All right, next at Williams Alex, great video. Thanks, appreciate that. Next comment at JLock601. Civics class is so important. So I already kind of feel the smugness. And at Niles Flag, and these folks skipped it. Ha 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 ha. So conspiracy brother, what do you got? Here's some smugness going on. Did they even watch the whole webinar? Probably not. But it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Again, I just, you know, when people have profile pictures up, I just go and look at their stuff.
Yeah.
And the one guy, J Lock, doesn't have anything up.
Shocking.
He doesn't have anything up, but Niles Flag has some things that he's done up. So I'm just looking over some of his information. He's some kind of editor, director, or whatever. You know, hey, this is America. You're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to feel how you feel. I thank you for your view. I thank you for watching. I hope you liked and shared, and I hope you subscribed. Thanks.
Yep. All right. At B-Man Gotti 6113. It's not about my skin color. It's about what makes the skin color the color of my skin. You know, melanin conference. I have no idea what you're trying to say, B-Man Gotti. Conspiracy brother, chop that up to loss.
Yeah, I think sometimes people want to be profound, and you know, I I, I, I don't know.
All right. Yeah, fail, B-Man Gotti. Sorry about that. But thanks for commenting and once again raising us up in the algorithm. At Shatira 3018. Oh, Rev Green, if you haven't awakened by now, you are not going to wake up. And I'll admit, conspiracy brother, I got a little tempted, and I did write back, wake up to what? And then she put, I responded to his words. Rewind his last comment. So I guess she's referring to Pastor William Green, who had mentioned something towards the end of our webinar. But I'm not sure what is maybe the pastor not waking up to. Is he not waking up to falling in line with the LGBTQ trans agenda with kids? Is he not waking up to just accepting open borders for people to flood our neighborhood, take our resources? That he's just calling out. This guy served on the task force for Hurricane Katrina, 2005. He also served in a minister capacity for the 9/11 Ground Zero Task Force. So I'm not sure, based on his experience, him working 24 years in the New York Department of Corrections, what he needs to wake up for, and what you think he needs to wake up from. I think, if anything, you might be the one, Shatira, that needs to wake up from whatever you're accusing us of being asleep of. I don't see the relevance of what you're saying. I appreciate your comment. It's free speech, but I don't get what you're accusing Pastor Green of waking up to. But conspiracy brother, if you got anything on that?
Well, yeah, I haven't rewatched the video, but I don't know. I don't know if she was saying that he wasn't awake. I interpreted as this person was saying that the Reverend said in the video people need to wake up, and she was saying, or they were saying, if you haven't woken up yet, you're not going to, saying those people won't wake up. So I don't necessarily think she was trying to make a comment at the Reverend. I think she was making a comment about what he was saying. That those people are asleep and they're going to stay asleep. So,
Okay, I see now.
Yeah, I could be wrong. Like I said, I haven't rewatched the video in a while because it's been up. So it's been a while since I rewatched it, but I don't think this person was trying to be antagonistic. But
okay, that's fair. No. Now that I'm kind of looking at it, and that's a great thing about us having this show, different perspectives, and even going through these comments. So what I read is one way, you saw is another. So I kind of see, uh, what you're saying. So yeah, Shatira, if that was kind of your intention, like, hey, these people aren't going to wake up, Reverend Green, then yeah, okay, that's fair. You know, that's very true as well. But yeah, thanks again for your comment. At Bruce Jackson 3844, he says, "Oh my God, if she wins, she will be the third Democrat with slave owners in her family, and yet she cannot support reparations. I did not vote Biden for this reason and would not have voted Obama had I known." Yeah, that's very fair. Because it's been sort of not even just Candace Owens, but I think the Irish Times and a couple other outlets, reported that she is the descendant of white Irish slave owners. So I know there's some things about her having, Indian family in Jamaica, and then her Jamaican family owning slaves. But I've been hearing a lot about her having an white Irish lineage, and they own slaves as well, or they owned it while they were in Jamaica. But conspiracy brother, anything you got on this? Because it's true.
I'm sure she won't be the third Democrat slave owner ever
Maybe like the
elected.
30th.
Right. Because I know the Democratic Party is older than the Republican Party. So, I mean, the Democratic Party was the party of slavery. So every Democrat politician wouldn't have had to have been a slave owner, but I'm sure that there were quite a few who had ties to slavery. I don't know when the Democratic Party was founded, but I know that the Democratic Party is older than the Republican Party. So, but I mean, yeah, like we talked about, Biden is a racist. I didn't vote for him. So if your contention is don't vote for Trump because he's a racist, I don't have a problem with that. Don't vote for Trump because he's a racist. Don't vote for Biden. Just keep the same logical consistency. You know,
be consistent, people.
Yep.
We'll call you out. All right. Next comment. Shatira 3018 is back. I'm sick and tired, so I think I don't know. She may have it in for Pastor Green after all. I'm sick and tired of black males like Reverend Green blaming black women for everything. High profile black males like Al Sharpton, Roland Martin, Maryland Governor Westmore, Reverend John Cager, and many more actually chastise blacks who refuse to support her. Black male celebrities like Charlemagne and Steve Harvey are hardcore Kamala supporters who insult anyone who disagree. It was black women who threatened to turn Chicago red because of migrants. A black woman proves she has no black ancestry. Gina told you, yet Hayward still refers to her as black. And dear Reverend Green, disobedience of God's will put you beneath your women. Your laziness will keep you there. That's for you, Rev. All right. So clearly she feels some type of way. I will say that I'm sure with his statement, he wasn't saying fully it's all black women's fault, but I think we need to be fair and reasonable. And this is uncomfy truths where black women do have a majority or at least half hand on this Kamala train that we're facing. Once again, the gatekeepers, the black ballet gatekeepers, the Roland Martins, Al Sharptons, uh, D.L. Hughley, Ricky Smiley's. Like, I agree with you on that, Shatira, where they are gatekeeping, trying to get us in line, the Negro overseers. But we can't ignore the fact that the AKAs, black sororities, by and large, they are lock in step, lobbying, doing things to put Kamala in this position. And once again, I'm not putting all the blame on. I don't think Pastor Green, or I can't really speak for him fully, but at least for me, I'm not putting all the blame on black women for us being in this Kamala and in this Kamala situation. And we've all mentioned that she isn't black. None of us acknowledge that she's black or anything like that. But yeah, I think once again, if he kind of came off that way, he's probably straight to the point with it. I can't speak for him. But yeah, I mean, black women aren't solely responsible for Kamala Harris, but you guys have a majority stake, I would say, and we got to at least be comfortable calling that out and not being like, "Oh, you're being degrading, you're hating on black women." No, we're just calling a spade a spade. But conspiracy brother, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I guess this is kind of geared toward the Reverend, so yeah, I think this is very specific. But in my own personal case, they get all the smoke. Steve Harvey, Charlemagne, all of them. They're all trash. Yeah, they're all trash to me. So, yeah, she's trash.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, they're all trash. Sorry, they're all trash. Roland, Al, Westmore, all of them trash. Total trash.
Yeah, and I just think once again, black men as well as black women are to blame equally. So y'all want to be equal, but y'all don't want to be. Y'all don't want to talk equality when it comes to any smoke or accountability or criticism. It's not all just we're trying to hate on the black women. It's like, well, you got to be able to take credit. We need to take credit, but then also you have to take responsibility when it's we're calling that out. So that's all I got to say on that. We don't want to start a firestorm, right? At T Graham 4894, the argument against immigration is simply an argument about population increase. Let's not demonize immigrants and talk about how our country is just not handling well the increase in population, mainly the poor population. we need more Social Security and not the program. So, oh yeah, I did comment on that little trolling earlier. But conspiracy brother, I'll let you go first on how this is the whole. Just how a friend of ours posted the article recently on how, well, really, migrants really aren't taking black people's jobs, and this sort of codifying and excusing and justifying the border crisis and how like you Negroes need to get in line and get used to it. It's about population increase. These are the same people where with migrant crime going up, they're saying, oh, it's not a migrant problem, it's a crime problem. So we're seeing more of this justifying, excusing away the issue and trying to be like, you know what, just get used to it, you know? So conspiracy brother, what you got on that?
Well, I don't care about population increase. My issue with immigration is always economic. When you allow people who come from poorer countries to come to this country and join the workforce, they invariably lower the cost of labor because they're willing to work for less money to do jobs that Americans would do for more money. Like when that lady earlier said, all the immigrants doing jobs that Americans don't want to do. No such job exists. It's just that they cost more money. I mean, you could get people to literally do anything for money. You know, there's a price. And if it's an honest job, you know, like an honest, like it's not like a selling drugs or like selling sex or something, you could literally get them to do it for a decent wage and they'd be proud of it. You know what I'm saying? You could get people to shovel human feces if you paid them enough, and they wouldn't even complain about it if they were paid enough. So that's really the issue. The whole Social Security, whatever. I mean, that's irrelevant because what happens is the government doesn't increase Social Security. It doesn't increase benefits for American citizens. Yet they will send $300 billion or so total to Israel and Ukraine over the course of the last 2 to 3 years. Okay? That's a problem. We pay taxes and they always tell us, no, you can't have this, you can't have that. But when it comes to whatever they want to do with their own pet projects or their own exploits, they'll do whatever they want and the price or the cost be damned. So, you know, no. The issue with immigration is simply that immigrants are taken advantage of and it hurts American workers. That's my issue. I can't speak for everybody else.
Okay, I'm back. Conspiracy brother, I don't know if you're there, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, cool. Where'd you leave off at? Yeah, I can't hear you.
Sorry, my mic was muted. I said I just finished with T. Graham, the whole argument against immigration.
Okay. All right. Well, T. Graham, once again, thanks for your comment. We always appreciate different thoughts, and you know, you have the free speech right to comment, just as we have the free speech right to, counter comment. All right, here we go. I don't know what it is, conspiracy brother. I enjoy like some of the foolish comments even more. It gives us some fun things to clown about. All right, foolish is what you are. I hope Trump puts you all in jail. Don't come back when they turn on your sorry ass. Shame on you. This comes from at Tracy Robinson 3657. Once again, one of these no profile pic numbers on the end. I don't know. This could be a black liberal just as much as it could be a white liberal, in my opinion, who's triggered. But foolish is what you are. I hope Trump puts you all in jail. Don't come back when they turn on your sorry ass. Shame on you. Conspiracy brother.
Well, this is weird. because unless you live in a fascist country, you have to commit a crime in order to be put in jail.
Yeah, last time I checked.
And if you're just hoping I get put in jail, even though I haven't committed a crime, you are a fascist.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a conundrum of logic. Also, if they can just put me in jail, even though I haven't committed crime, what will stop them from putting you in jail, even though you haven't committed a crime? And if you're a white person and you think, well, they won't put me in jail, I'm a white person, but they'll put you in jail because you're a black person, you're a racist. So, another example of either liberal stupidity or liberal racism. I can't be sure which one yet.
Mm-hmm. All right. At Lily Bart dash S9I says, how many folks did you get for the call? Once again, we did our first Zoom webinar. It was recorded. I think we were at about maybe up to 15, 16, maybe close to 20. Um, and then it kind of fluctuated. So I think around 15 people were actually on the call as attendees. Um, if you, in case you want to know, we did it via Zoom webinar. At Jason Levesque 8546, the open border as it's been is nothing but a dead end for all of us. So I guess I don't entirely disagree. I don't know if he means a dead end as like a dead end talking point or topic, or is it a dead end where it's not going to end well for us? So I'm not sure exactly. At Jason Levesque 8546, appreciate the comment. I don't really understand the context. Oh yeah, got a couple other ones too. We got a Michigan man on here. I'm from there and still live here myself. Go Tigers! All right. And then Jason at Jason Levesque 8546. Got to get you fine folks in front of brother Vince Ellison. So I did look him up. Jason, he looks like he does some stuff for the young Americans Liberty. He's more of a staunch kind of black conservative. I don't agree with everything he says, but yeah, he definitely puts out some good stuff. He does work with YAL, I think possibly Turning Point. But yeah, good comments. Conspiracy brother, do you think any guess on maybe what he meant by that open border comment? I'm sure he's well aware of it. He sounds pretty
Yeah, maybe
aware.
maybe he's
Yeah,
just maybe he's just saying that's one of the big concerns of his,
yeah.
and so that's my guess.
Hmm.
It's just saying that. But yeah,
Yeah.
go Tigers.
Yeah.
Unfortunate that they lost, but great season.
Yeah.
Really picked it up from what they started, and hopefully they can build on that for next season.
Yeah. Let's hope. All right. All right. At U.S. President 48TH83. How long this is? Oh Lord. Okay. This is the job, so I'm gonna do it. This presidential election is truly not about Kamala Harris or if black men or black women are truly behind her as the first female president in the White House Oval Office in the year 2025 at all. So once again, U.S. President, you don't have to space these comments the way you're doing it. I think it's a little unnecessary, but anyway, the election is truly about business transaction, which truly means tangibles, public policy, overseas policy. I think she meant agenda. He or she meant agenda plan, legislation, laws, executive orders, resources and funding, leadership and experience, job creation, entrepreneurship. Kamala Harris in the Oval Office Making history in the White House Oval Office is truly bright golden glitter that looks very nice, but not real life tangibles or long term progress into the future of society or where America is truly heading in the future. Okay, got that, nothing else. All right, that's fair. Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, asset or liability versus the couch. Vote the damn couch truly means the White House Oval Office stays empty and vacant with no elected president in the White House at all. Democracy. You have to live in a community environment setting and staying segregated, plus organize and work together and move as one collective group of people, not individuals with a selfishness mindset behavior of individualism, which never gets important things done. Thing done at all. Segregation society, community setting, integration society, neighborhood environment, knowledge, uh, knowledge more important than I think knowledge and intelligence. So a little weirdly worded. I'm pretty much all most of the way with you on that. U.S. president. Um, but yeah, conspiracy brother. If you want to go ahead, I don't know if I have a whole lot to say on that.
No, I don't really have anything. You do need to make the decision about whether a person is a liability or an asset when you vote for them.
Hmm.
So I think in general that's sound advice, but you still need to make your decision for yourself. I've never advocated for anybody to vote one way or the other. I don't like the Democratic Party. I don't vote for the Republican Party, but I've never advocated for anybody else to do what I did. I try to give information as best I can and let that be it. So yeah, that's it. Make the decision that works best for you. All we provide is information and context. If you are attacked by this information, if you feel threatened by information, then you need to re-examine your life and try to understand why you might feel this way about um, you know information.
All right, conspiracy brother, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Cool. Just had to hold on a moment. Once again, guys, you guys are watching Uncomfy Truths. I am your co-host, Conservative Brother Daily, here with Conspiracy Brother. Having a little bit of some technical issues, but we're back at it. I'm just gonna use the keypad versus the mouse. All right, so next we have K Marco 1, 947 views, laughing emoji. So I'll go easy on her. I don't know if you're for us or biased, but seems like to me it's just a kind of a in passing belittling comment. We're currently at 3K views now, so I'm not. I don't think it's about views are important. I don't think views are as important as it is maybe comments and likes. But yeah, I guess it's just a pretty smug way of like, oh, you guys aren't going anywhere. So not much to say about that. All right, at Billy Hicks 6587, thumbs down. Okay, I'm a thumbs down your crap right now.
Well,
And you,
jokes on you. Thanks to Disney making trash media, I don't get to see the thumbs down. Haha.
there you go. And we got a lot more than your 6 thumbs up. So have fun with that at Billy Hicks. But still, we appreciate your comment. Thanks for watching. Come back. At Maddie Dreddy, Harris is not black. It's a deep state cover up. Judge Joe Brown knew her father. Watch on Candace Owens. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because Candace Owens has been doing, I think, some of the best. I know, conspiracy brother, we were having this conversation on what Judge Joe Brown has been talking about, what Candace Owens has been digging up. But yeah, Maddie, you're right on point. It's kind of weird to me, and even when Candace mentioned about just how she sitted with her supposed grandmothers, and how it's kind of like it has like a help kind of standoffish type. It's not like a warm embrace as if there's actually like the grandmother or the granddaughter. So it's definitely a lot that Candace Owens is uncovering. Then of course we already know Harris's slave owner family history. But yeah, conspiracy brother, anything on that? Um,
Yeah, I mean, as far at the very least, the jury is still out in my mind about whether or not she is who she claims to be. Remember when Donald Trump won or was running for office, they went to find his family's ancestral home in Germany.
mm,
So even Obama, they went to Kenya to find his people, and they haven't gone to Jamaica to interview any of her family or talk to anybody in her family. So I think that's quite a bit stranger than I would expect. You know, You don't have any of her Jamaican family. Everybody's talking about, oh man, she's not black. And you don't just go and interview any of her Jamaican family that we know still exists. That's strange to me.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even interviewing her Indian family, but like none of the Jamaican family, you're not going to the village to, or the city or the town where her people are from to talk about it or anything at all. That's weird. That's weird.
Yep. The truth, as they say, truth is often stranger than fiction, and the plot thickens. More and more we learn, peeling back the layers of Kamala. We got a couple comments from at Megan Gross IV7ZC. I'm going to subscribe. I like listening to intelligent people talk. Thank you. Appreciate you subscribing. The problem with Kamala Harris is she's a Marxist and she's pushing for communism. And that's not going to work in America. Just my humble opinion. Don't forget about Miss Peoples and her daughter and what Kamala Harris did to her. Okay, I don't know if he's talking about the black woman that she locked up for truancy. I will admit Kamala does have Marxist tendencies. She has quoted Marxist rhetoric. I don't think I know conspiracy brother. I know you're kind of you're a little against that whole like, oh, she's just a communist. I think she's an authoritarian for the establishment, a placeholder, if you will, or puppet. I don't think communism. It's going to be a certain type of communism, but it's not going to be like the very communism that from other different countries and civilizations the Mao Marx. It's going to be more of a technocrat, globalist, ushering in my personal opinion, with Kamala Harris, it's not going to be straight up communism. I think that's the right kind of fear mongers that word a little too much, but whatever Kamala brings in is not going to be any better. So that's my thoughts, conspiracy brother. If you wanted to give your thoughts to Megan Gross.
Yeah, I definitely think she'll be an authoritarian. I think you can expect. I've heard that California's trying to. I didn't get to watch the video, but Jimmy Dore did, where they're talking about California's going to be imposing a mask mandate again.
Oh,
so like, I can definitely see her doing something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Communist.
There's going to be layers of DNA.
Definitely.
I feel like there'll be layers. There'll be DNA of communism from an authoritarian standpoint. But
yeah. Definitely authoritarian, but yeah.
All right, cool. All right, next comment. At Anika Diamond, proud of y'all. Thank you, appreciate it. At Winterheart87, this panel is incredible. God bless. I appreciate that. Feel free to subscribe, like, and tune into the next one. All right, here we go. Shatira just couldn't stay away. You know, they are on one accord. We are on one. They are on one according, which is good. Others like Hal and Rev Green are very ignorant and did not do much research. And this is once again someone, I believe, Shatira. Did she mention she didn't even watch the whole panel? That she was kind of turned off by the our opening statements, or may have been somebody else. I don't know. But dear true black women, that Hindu who is cosplaying as black is going to ruin our reputation. When she falls, and she will, we black women will be blamed. Reverend Green already blamed black women for the current topic of discussion. So I think, Shatira, just to be fair, I'm not all the way with you. I just think your whole, oh, this person's ignorant, and you seem a little too caught up on the fact that black women are getting any sort of blame. I think everybody, if you want to be as far as equality, does deserve some sort of criticism or tough love. We're not these like crazy black women hating people that are trying to just bash and destroy. I think sometimes tough love is necessary. So I think I understand where you're coming from, and I'm kind of halfway with you. But the fact that you're any sort of criticism where we're saying, hey, there's a black boule, there is a core of black women who are pushing for Kamala, that has to be called out. You know, but I do believe I do know there are a lot of people that do go overboard and they're solely blaming this on black women. I don't believe in that. that that's the sole reason Kamala's where she is. But I think if we could be honest and have an uncomfortable truth, that once again there are certain black women in the black bourgeoisie, the Divine Nine, aka, that are pushing this. So we have to at least be honest and acknowledge that. Just because we acknowledge that and say the uncomfortable thing doesn't mean we're ignorant. Doesn't mean we're just hating black women every time we just point out a little criticism. But conspiracy brother, let me know if I'm out of pocket or you know if I'm being
No,
reasonable.
I mean,
You know,
I think I can't really remember the. I'm gonna have to rewatch it because I don't remember Reverend Green being overly critical of women, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I think we try to be objective. We try not to single anybody out unfairly. I think we try to be well researched in the topics we cover, at least with the relevant points. And so, unfortunately, you don't agree,
Yep.
at least not in whole, maybe in part, but you know, um, we will continue to improve. We will strive to be better every time, and we appreciate your engagement.
Yep. All right. At We Call BS News _ podcast. When is the next one, please? Not like them. So I think I did comment on this. I'll just reply again. We are going to be doing it next Sunday, 10:20. So that will be uploaded a few days later because we will be doing probably Zoom webinar again. So yep, that's when the next was going to be officially next Sunday. Thanks at We Call BS News podcast. At Libertario Crypto, never vote in Kamala. Never vote in Kamala. She's a communist puppet. She's a racist liar. So I definitely agree with the second aspect of it. Once again, I think she has layers of DNA of communism, the authoritarian kind. But I don't think it's more than communists we're dealing with. We're dealing with a globalist, authoritarian, WEF, Davos group, which is going to be, in my opinion, kind of like communism on steroids. So I don't think it's pure communism, but it's just going to be worse than communism. Conspiracy brother.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Never vote for her. She's definitely a puppet, an authoritarian puppet. I would say a racist liar.
Yeah,
I agree.
facts. Appreciate
I
it.
don't agree she's a communist, but I agree she's an authoritarian. I mean, yeah.
All right. Okay. At P Gonzalez -B2K, your video has been out since 9/29. This is the first time I've seen it. Only 29 thumbs up. Makes one wonder if your video is being hidden. Thanks for all your truths. I appreciate that, P Gonzalez. And yeah, I did mention it. I did comment a little while ago that there have been people, I don't know if conspiracy brother been hearing about, who have been kind of noticing the videos been hidden, or you know, I think they're kind of doing a little bit of shadow banning, if you will. At Megan Grossman, I found this video today too. So appreciate that. But yeah, I think overall with YouTube, there is a certain level of censorship or shenanigans we're going to expect, which is why all of our content, including this Kamala town hall, is also on our Rumble. It's also on our Rumble right over here, as well as a Odyssey. We do also have an Odyssey channel. Um, yeah, so yeah, conspiracy brother, have you been noticing anybody talking about the video kind of being hidden or having a little algorithm, anything like that?
Not this video specifically, besides this comment, but in general, yeah, a lot of videos. I mean, even with our channel, when I search for it by name, sometimes I can't find it. So when I'm trying to show people like videos and stuff, it's hard to find. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they were doing something to the algorithm.
All right. Yep. Great. Good observation, P. Gonzalez. You also commented, he or she, illegal immigrants end up in black neighborhoods. Martha's Vineyard did not work out. Yeah, that's true. Um, Definitely, it's kind of like rules for thee, but not for we, and that whole not in my backyard mentality. So once again, a lot of white liberals, they love to talk a good game of, oh, open the borders up, you know, love has no borders, you know, I'll take migrants over racists any day. But as soon as they show up in their neighborhood, at their doorstep, they start singing a different tune. Conspiracy brother?
Yeah, I mean that was pretty funny when DeSantis and Abbott sent the migrants to Martha's Vineyard, and then all those nice, good, friendly, rich, wealthy northeastern liberal elite completely changed their opinion about all that stuff, and they had
Mhm.
those folks shipped out immediately.
Immediately,
But
expeditiously.
yes, uh, illegals are in black neighborhoods. They are. They're disproportionately in black neighborhoods because our neighborhoods are usually the throwaway neighborhoods. So that's what happens.
Yep, exactly. And also shout out conspiracy brother. I don't know if you could highlight the comment. We just got a comment from one of our returning guests, friends of the show, Nun Dare Call It Conspiracy. Yep. Hey, good to see you on. If you can still join us, let us know. If not, feel free to sit back. So appreciate shout out to Nun Dare Call It Conspiracy. She has a great channel, putting some really good work out. And different things going on in the political landscape from a Detroit, Michigan angle perspective. All right, next comment. Once again, Pete Gonzalez has a couple more. I'll just read them off just for the sake of time. Biden and Harris never apologized to the families of the 13 dead soldiers of the Afghanistan withdrawal disaster. That's very true. Um, you had Biden showing up, checking his watch while they're loading the bodies on the plane. You never had Harris even mention the Democrats throughout the last 2 3 years. They don't even acknowledge the Gold Star families. And then what kind of fumed me was they had the nerve. Harris had the nerve to when Trump actually met with the families at Arlington Cemetery. She and he all he did was do a thumbs up next to the families that went to see him. Kamala was up here trying to be like, "Oh, this is political. How dare you do that?" And the whole internet just ratio destroyed her. You had all the like a family member from each of the Gold Star families. They put out a personal video bashing Harris. It was just a complete backfire. I don't know who in her press team thought that would be a good idea, but it backfired tremendously. Um, oh, Nun Dare, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How you guys doing?
Hey, not too bad. How
Good.
about you?
I'm
Like
doing
what you said,
okay.
not bad, not
Finally
that
just
bad.
got settled. Listen, when it's raining, it's the best time to make money. For real.
Yeah,
So
I,
I'm just getting in not too long ago.
I
But
hear you.
yeah, so I'll be on here as long as you guys are here.
Yeah, yeah. This is a basically we're kind of I know we're running a little long when we got topics to get to, but I thought this would be really fun aspect. We're going through right now, None Dare, the comments from the Black Women and Black Men Not for Kamala Harris panel that some of us
Oh, okay.
participated in. So we're going
Okay.
through here. There's some good ones. There's some bad ones. I just think it's really important that just how they have the free speech right to comment, we got the free speech right to fact check or call them out, or even if it's just like, hey, you guys doing a great job. We're just kind of going
Exactly.
through the comments. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Now, do you guys know it was apparently a third assassination attempt today? Well, yesterday, I think. It just came out not too long
Yeah, I
ago.
heard
Yeah,
about it at
yeah.
Coachella,
At the
right?
at the Trump rally in
Yeah.
Coachella. Yeah, I'd read
It was
about
a
that.
100,000 people there. Wow.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah,
And
but I'll mute up because I just got some McDonald's, so and I'll comment as needed.
okay, yeah, whenever you want to, we're
Okay.
just commenting on each comment and just kind of giving our
Okay.
initial thoughts, or Um, next comment: she did have 3.5 years to secure the border. Complete failure. Truth matters. Florida has Amendment 4 coming up to be able to abort 9-month-old fetuses. Morals and ethics are also human compassion matter. Um, I mentioned great points. Megan Gross mentioned Florida would never vote that in. They are a red state. We have, oh, remember her. Lies, lies, lies. And then we got we got our boy Vincent Gallimore back. Name a vice president that created any policy. You can't because they don't. So I think we got a lot here. Conspiracy
Dick
brother.
Cheney.
Oh yeah, Dick Cheney.
Yeah, Dick Cheney was
Yeah.
basically the president. He's known for essentially reshaping what a vice president is supposed to do. He became president basically because they knew he couldn't win an election, so they made him the vice president. But yeah, Dick Cheney, the vice president that created any policy. Yeah.
Yep, I
So
agree. And that's a fact. And he was a major part. He ran because besides Kamala, I didn't think anybody could be any less dumb, ignorant than George W. Bush, because he was a really. He was dumber than a bag of rocks too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she beats him at that.
Mm.
As far as her intelligence level, really,
yeah,
very
yeah,
incompetent. I mean, really, I think George W. Bush, he got a whole lot more on her than. But
yeah.
anyway, but
And
you're
I
right
think
about Dick Cheney. He did run, and he did change the concept of what the VP does.
and then when you look at what it says, you know, lies, lies. I mean, she did have 3 years to secure the border, 3.5 years. She was the border czar.
Right.
So it's not like she was just a vice president. She was put in charge of the border. So, I mean, you have autonomy now to get that under control in a way that, maybe a vice president wouldn't typically have if that wasn't their specific job requirement.
Mm. Yeah, good point. Good point, y'all. All right, next comment. P. Gonzalez, once again, frequent commenter. I only had to watch this video to know she is not a good person. YouTube video, look it up. Kamala exposed after black mom speaks out. Broke my heart. So I don't know if he's talking about, he or she's talking about when they went after that mother in Santa Ana, California, who had the
Yeah,
sick
that's
sickle
who he's
cell
talking
girl.
about.
Yep.
Yeah, and arrested her. That was awful.
Yeah. Brought to you by Kamala. All right, we are heading toward the end of these comments. Just got a few left. Conspiracy brother, anything you want to discuss on the black mom?
Oh yeah, well,
Felons case? Yeah.
they try to make excuses and say that she didn't arrest anybody, but people were arrested for her policy. Not even just black people. There was a white mom, I believe, in Orange County who was arrested for the truancy law as well.
Mm.
And the thing about these kinds of laws, when we reduce the concern to if black people or if white people are the only ones injured by these types of laws, we really miss the point, because they can all get turned on anybody at any time. And that's why you have to really be intelligent and not be so reactive and not be so short-sighted and allow your biases and hatred to guide what you do. You have to at least try sometimes to do things, clear-minded and logically and well thought out. Because yeah, they'll be doing this at a national level if she gets in office. Why wouldn't they? What would stop her?
Mm. Good point. Good point. All right, we're heading toward the end of these comments. It's been very entertaining, and once again, guys, we do this because we believe in the public commons of free speech, kind of having the public square, and just how anybody has the right to comment, say anything good, bad, ugly, nasty to us. We still respect your right to free speech. And if it's a comment worth commenting on, or good, bad, or otherwise, we'll comment on it. And if it's something where you need a little tough love correction, we will do that too. But same thing, you can't say we run away from any sort of conflict. So at Lynn W6393, I appreciate your well thought out research, views, and opinions. Thank you. God bless you all, Linda. All right, thank you, Linda. At Manny Yahales 1161. I hope this channel blows up and you gain thousands, hundred of thousands of subs. I am now sub number 18. Everything was talked about clearly and calmly. Thank you, Manny. Appreciate it. Appreciate the subscribe. Feel free to share, like the video, and we're gonna. And like I said, we have another one coming up next Sunday, the 20th. Um, and then finally, we have here at TJ6058 at 58 minutes, good brother preacher started preaching. Make it plain for him. Pastor, whole truth. I'm going to be the 17 subscribers. Salute to your channel. All right, so thank you. Appreciate that. Um, and yeah, Nun Dare, as we wrap up here, we were just kind of going through and, just going through the comments of our viral Kamala town hall. We're at about 3,000 views so far. 3,000 views, over 100 likes, and 69 comments. Did you have anything you wanted to, just any final reflections, None Dare, on the town hall and how you liked it, or you know?
Um, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the panel. I think it was a cohesiveness between all of us, as far as our ideas and the
Mhm.
different perspectives that we brought. I thought, what's his name? The moderator?
Yeah, Darvell. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know if I should say his name. He was really, really, he did a great job
yeah,
in keeping everything in line, the questions flowing. I mean, I really enjoyed the panel. I really did. And I'm just glad to be a part of it, of bringing forth knowledge. So it was a great panel. I can't figure out, I just got this on my community tab because I don't know how to put it on my regular live. I don't know how to do that, but just tell me at a later time.
yeah. You can just upload it manually as a video, based on the video file I gave you. But yeah, we
Oh,
can
I
talk
can?
offline. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
so
it's a
just
video
do it as
file.
a video.
Yeah, just upload it as a video. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So if they try and
Okay.
censor us, shut us down, my channel or Conspiracy Brothers channel, we could have it out there. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I'm not texting. I just figured out how to do a thumbnail today. Okay. Give me 5 on that.
Hey, to each his own. You know.
Yep.
Yep. All
Okay.
right, good stuff. All right, cool. So now what we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna transition into our normal part of the show based on current events. So those of you guys have been following the show for a while, we throw up a topic on the screen. Um, and I think the big one, I know Hurricane Milton just passed, but I think we at least got to still talk about everything that went on with Hurricane Helene and the FEMA funds. And basically, we're hearing what many of us already knew on how basically the funds, and then I think even KJP or whatever her name is, the White House secretary, came out this week and just pretty much said, no, these funds, these FEMA funds aren't being used for any other purpose. And then they pull up the video of her from 2022, specifically saying that these funds are going towards, we're going toward multiple illegal migrant initiatives. And then come 2 years later, there's no more money. And we have people getting $750. And there's even been talk about how people are getting are even having trouble getting that. It's like you have no communication, no Wi-Fi. Your entire life is gone, and now you got to try and get on the internet and try and apply for this 750. You know, so they had no trouble putting in those stimulus checks directed to our account in 2020, but it comes to 750. Now you have to apply, and there's just so much going on. But I'll let it go ahead, conspiracy brother, or None Dare, whoever wants to go first, and just talk about kind of where we are with this whole debacle.
You know, I talked about this on my channel, and I became so emotional, which normally I don't do that.
Hmm.
I try not to operate in emotions because emotions can take you to a place where you don't need to be. Always have to use logic.
Right.
But I was in tears because how dare you? These, the fact that, the fact that you even have the audacity, you send another 8 billion over to Ukraine. I don't give a anything. You know, I want to put some adjectives in there, some verbs, right? I don't care anything about Ukraine. I do not want my money going to look. You don't want to foster peace deal because Ukraine is the most corrupt. It's more corrupt than Mexico.
Mm.
You just send another eight, and then you just like Maui. You're gonna give the people $700 who lost everything, and then you're gonna turn around and then give a speech like you really did something. My house just went down the river along with my car. My farm is flooded out completely. I've lost everything. And you think that $750, that's a slap in the face to
Mm.
any American citizen. And whoever, y'all voting for that? Clearly, she does not care, nor um Biden care about the American people. But I will say, now you have to know, and this is another topic for another day. Biden has
Hmm.
been throwing her up under the bus. Yes, he has.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yes, he had, because he is pissed. But anyway, the coup that was against him. But the audacity for you to say that, and then I don't know if you know, um, they found $7 billion in a slush fund for FEMA.
Mm.
So you can Google that. So yeah, they turn around find 7 billion. But they still, and you're right, people were denied for the $750. Yes, they did. They denied them. How dare you? All of them need to go, except for a few. And I mean Democrat and Republican need to go. It needs to be a whole overhaul.
Clean house.
And that's and America, you need to do that except for a few. Now I like a few. Now you know I like my Byron Donald. Yes, I do. I like Josh Hawley. I like Jim Jordan. Yeah, it's a few of them I'm okay with. And what's the girl name?
Thomas Massey. It's pretty good. I like him.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
but what's the name? Marjorie. Even though Marjorie get on in there, but Marjorie will not be bought or sold. No, she won't. She won't compromise herself. Even though I think she go overboard, but she won't compromise. No, she not gonna be bought at all. Cause she gonna tell it first. But yeah, but it needs to be a whole overhaul. Them old decrepit Pelosi and shoot all them old people. Y'all need to go sit on down. Let the young. Your time is over. People don't even think the way you think anymore. It's time to give it up for the younger generation. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, great perspective, Nun Dare. Appreciate that. Conspiracy brother. Go ahead and lay it down.
Well, you know, this is kind of just like the situation with Lahaina, right? Where they gave those people $700, burned all their property down, and like Nundare said, another $8 billion to Ukraine, on top of all the money that they've already given to Ukraine and Israel over the past almost 3 years for Ukraine. You know, like I said, it makes it harder to justify paying taxes. It makes it harder to make that excuse, because even if they say, hey, 80% of this money goes back to American corporations through the purchase of weapons, that don't benefit the average American, right? That benefits the average weapons manufacturer, but that doesn't actually benefit the average American. So that's not a win. You see what I'm saying? We are being taken advantage of. They're spitting in our faces, and unless we get to a point where we're willing to fight back in some way, we're going to continue to suffer. They know there are no consequences.
Mm. Yeah, and it's just sad the way Lahaina, Hawaii, East Palestine, Ohio. We're seeing this treatment by our own citizens over and over again, that you're dirt, you're nothing. You were born here, but we will treat illegal migrants and give them all the resources and money over tax-paying American-born citizens. So I think it's beyond like the communism, sort of authoritarian communism mask coming off, when they're just so unapologetic and like, yeah, this is it, and we could lie to you, and then we pull up the video of you contradicting yourself 2 years ago, and then for them to have, there's like been no accountability. I don't know if KJP is online for her job or whatnot, but it just shows us everything we need to know and things we've been speaking on the past 2 years on how there is nothing you can do that is going to let them care about you, and they will put every other every other person, the migrant community is a protected class ahead of uh, born American citizens. So we've seen it with East Palestine, Lahaina, and now of course, uh, you know, Asheville, North Carolina, and the Hurricane Helene victims. So this is just very troubling, and it's just something where if people aren't waking up to this by now, and even in Michigan, those of us that are in Michigan, and just the history of, we can get some bad thunderstorms, we can have some bad flooding. I remember specifically about 8 9 years ago, there was some really bad flooding, like late summer, August of 2014, where it was like 20 feet of water on the Lodge Freeway. And just think about something like that hitting your hometown. And if this isn't a wake up call where everybody can realize, okay, well, the second something happens like that in my town, the government isn't going to do anything for me. So I hope the ones that are smart can at least see this as like a wake up call to where, no, the government's not your friend. They're not going to take care of you. We got to take care of ourselves. That's all I got to say on that. Um, all right, next topic, y'all. Um, not much of, not that much of like, big news now. But I thought it'd be funny if we could really quick. I know we got to get to Obama's black men comments, but maybe we could just go over some quick, any of our quick thoughts from the debate. I know the VP debates don't really matter. My opinion, JD won that. He did some live fact checking, but they tried to, talk him out of, when he tried to talk about what's really going on with legal immigration. Even heard SNL has been doing a fair job of actually calling out Kamala and Walz's mockery, or their silliness, if you will. But I think, once again, Vance did win the debate. The grand scheme of things, VP debates don't really matter. But I think it did expose Tim Walz a lot. But I just wanted to see if anybody wanted to give their quick thoughts on the debate. I know it was almost a week ago, but yeah, anybody has their thoughts on it and what it might mean. Does it amount to anything, or is it just old news?
Well, no, it amounts to something. I think JD Vance did a great job, and I really like the way he handled Waltz. He
Hmm.
really walked him into, questions. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the way he answered, I loved his strategy was awesome. And I like the way he said no. He said no, that's a wrong fact check. Even how he handled himself with the moderator.
Hmm.
I thought he did an excellent. Well, actually, I had a newfound respect for JD after that debate. I really did.
Mm.
Yes, he definitely. If something happened and he needed to step in, I think he'll do good as a president. I do.
Facts.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. All right. Conspiracy brother, did you get a chance to watch the VP debate? And if so, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think Tim Walz looked good. I think whatever they were trying to portray him to be, some kind of counterweight to Kamala Harris or whatever, to help boost her or whatever. I don't think it did what he was expected it to do. That question that they were asking him about, it was I don't even know if it was about something about China or something, and he was like, I already know my wife, or so. It was something crazy. He gave some weird answer, and the moderator was like, "Well, that you didn't even answer the question at all. Would you like to try again?" He was like, no, I don't want to say anything else. It was like, all right, bro, chill, bro. What is wrong with you? So no, man. He looked bad. I think you know, um, he looked really just he looked bad, and he looked like he, like a lot of people were saying, oh, Tim Walz, he's some great working class, whatever, or he's a friend of the working class or people or progressives or something. But he looked like a weirdo. Like, I know they like to try to say JD Vance is a weirdo, and I'm not even saying he's not. I don't know. I mean, but Tim Walz looked like a real weirdo. Like, it just, something about him. He didn't seem prepared. He didn't seem capable. And then it was just like, it almost just seemed like they were really in agreement so much that it was like, well, why should I vote for Tim Walz and Kamala Harris? Like, y'all don't disagree with Trump at all. So why would I, you know what I'm saying? What's the deal? Him and JD Vance was like in agreement on 90% of what they was talking about. At least that's how Tim Walz tried to present it. So it's like, what's wrong with you? You're just a weird dude and you agree with JD Vance. So what's your point? You know what I'm saying?
Facts. All right, good stuff. And once again, guys, we are about 3 weeks away from the election. So one VP debate may not amount to a whole lot, but I think it definitely exposed Tim Walz in some ways that he wasn't expecting, as far as the Democrats go as well. And that I do respect, once again, JD. You could just tell, like, the moderators, once again, CBS News, it became 3-on-1 all over again. So I do respect Trump, JD, who probably handled himself probably better than Trump did, as far as like calling out and kind of handling the moderators who are trying to fact check you out of oblivion. So I think JD could at least say he won the debate. Um, all right. So next topic's been a lot of controversy going on. We got to talk about Obama. I know, conspiracy brother, you did quite a nice sort of expose, or you did a little live earlier this week. But yeah, I haven't watched the entire video. I've only seen clips where basically, yeah, he's just talking down. It's the modern day Negro overseer who's basically he's figuring out that the emperor has no clothes, that he's starting to lose his spell, if you will. So I think this is good as far as like giving us a lot of people the exposure that people may not realize when people say like the Democrats think they own you, like we're on the Democrat plantation. This is an example of the Negro overseer working overtime to try and bash black men just for having a different opinion, for deciding, hey, I'm going to vote based on policy and really what the results are, and what I feel is most important to my family, my community, and not just falling in line with the identity politics that the Dems had over us the past 15 years. So I got a few more other things I can say, but Nun Dare, conspiracy brother, whoever wants to kind of go first, and yeah, just lay into Obama. This is just it's not shocking, but I don't, I'm not surprised, but so Nun Dare, if you want to maybe go.
Yep. I talked about that today on my channel.
Mm,
Um, I thought that it was very disrespectful. Number one, she doesn't. He said that people are not so don't have the enthusiasm as they had. Well, that's because he was the first. We had so much hope and so much thought that there would be a change, in the status quo for us, and it turned around. And what I learned from his presidency is I will never vote identity politics after that.
mm,
You did nothing for Black Americans. At that point, I changed. No, I'm only going to vote policy and what would benefit me and my family after his um after his tenure. I mean, for the first time, I stood out there in for 2 hours in the cold with my daughter. That was her first
Mm,
time voting, and we were so
mm-hmm.
happy,
Yep.
because now we had someone who took the oh, what was the word I used back in? Who took the stench off being a Black American? That there was a great orator and someone who was a man of color that could speak so well and was
Mm-hmm.
very intelligent, knew constitutional law. It made us proud. You know what I mean? That now you can't say that all Black people are just ignorant and doing all of these things, that we do have a lineage, of very intelligent people. So he took that away, I thought. And so I was so thrilled. But all he did was for that one community, and there was nothing for us. And secondly, she already told you to your face she would not do anything specifically for Black people.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is. So I thought that was very disrespectful. Listen, and after what she did, the 1,500 Black men that she locked up in California, the one that the Supreme Court had to come make her release people because they were doing prison labor for companies, and made her release the few. Then you had the man she convicted of unaliving her his best friend. He did 7 years. She never That got overturned. She never apologized, never said anything. So what she did to Black men, why would they trust her? Why would they be enthusiastic about her, who now went from Indian to Black all of a sudden?
Hmm.
Why? They shouldn't. But he's catching and the thing is, what he's realizing, just like these celebrities, lastly, this is the age of inquiries. People are waking up. The celebrities don't have the power that they used to have. He doesn't have the power that he used to have. You can't sway everybody. Let me just say that, because it's still some among us that need to wake up. But you know, and look, she don't have a personality. No, but who really likes this woman with that laugh and the cackling and the incompetence? Who really likes this chameleon? I want to say some other words. Okay, I'm done.
Great words, Nun Dare. Definitely give us a lot to think about. You definitely uh, exposed a lot of what many in the Black community have been thinking about Obama and just really his legacy. Conspiracy brother, I know you may have a lot to say on this. Feel free. Let's
Yeah.
cook. Let's cook.
I may do another one on my look up the Conspiracy Brother channel, like breaking down that video specifically with some, cross references. But I think a lot of what Nun Dare said is fully true. I think if he would have just been a president, a former president like Jimmy Carter, like, you never hear about George Bush saying that. You know why? Because people hate George Bush, and he knows they hate him. And so what he's decided to do is go and paint pictures in the desert to stay out of people's mind. And then every time he come back, he just does some little clown stuff, so people laugh at him, and then they forget he's a murdering war criminal, and then he gets to go and live his life. That's what Obama should have done. He should have did his little Netflix thing or whatever with his wife or whatever he doing, and he should have shut up, because what he doesn't understand, what he does not accept, is that we didn't vote for Hillary Clinton because of her alone. We didn't vote for her for the same reason people didn't vote for John McCain when he ran against John McCain, because they were tired of the previous administration of that political party, right? Hillary Clinton lost because Barack Obama was trash, not just for Black Americans, but everybody. Okay? If everybody would have liked Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton would have won in a landslide. But instead, they were so tired of Barack Obama, the Democratic Party, they voted for a man that never held any political office before. And I'll say it since everybody want to keep saying it. His most famous thing to date is having been bankrupt or whatever. That's since everybody want to say that. That's his most famous thing he's done recently is filing for bankruptcy. And they voted him to be the president. You see what I'm saying? He does not understand that as a nation, we have grown. And that's the thing I was thinking about. You know, when you look at the president and the phases of the country, a person is the president. And then during their time in office, the country exists in that time and space, right? Unburdened from what is and burdened to be bound by what will come, right?
Exactly.
That's how we look at it. But then after you leave office, the consciousness, the collective consciousness of the country continues to shift. We are still existing in this space. You have almost stepped outside of it because now you can't ever drive again. You got Secret Service detail for the rest of your life. All these different things. You got a pension. I don't know how much their pension is, but you're a separate and unequal thing for the rest of your life. Your kids, grandkids, all that, in a way that we aren't. And so you cannot relate to us. So you want to come out here and the brothers and all this. First of all, that ain't you. I didn't vote for this man neither time. I didn't vote for him. I didn't campaign for him. Because for me, my thinking at the time, was, what would make a black man, want to be the president of the United States? And I'm not saying it like you can't want to love your country or whatever. But I would just be worried if I became president, they would try to kill me. And so for trying, they killed Robert Kennedy running for president. They didn't even wait until he got elected. They killed him running. So I would just assume, oh yeah, they're going to get rid of me. They didn't try to kill Donald Trump 3 times.
Right. You know, I just want to interject something. My mother, I got on her. She voted for John McCain because of abortion. My mother never, and she had it right all along because of abortion.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it, but she was right.
I remember the fervor and all this stuff with the McCain, Obama, and even Obama Romney. And I couldn't understand it. I just felt like there's got to be something to this. I can't understand it. But something about this guy don't make sense. And so, but like, you don't have the pull you think you have, man. You won because we had invested in an idea of you that did not exist and we didn't know it yet. And I say we to speak of the collective of the Black community, not me specifically, because I didn't vote for you. But that's the truth. You misinterpreted the fact that we as Black people looked past your flaws, looked past the fact that you didn't really talk like we talked, looked past the fact that you didn't have our background, that your mom was white and that you was raised by a white grandma and you didn't have a Black parent. And when I say Black, I don't mean African. An African father who you only met twice, and the last time you met him, you were 10 years old. Right? We looked past all that. Because we were trying to live through you. We were trying to realize something through your presidency, through your ascendancy that had nothing to do with you. And you completely misjudged it. You thought you won because you had pull. And so you come out talking to Kamala. This might have single-handedly destroyed her campaign. And I am not trying to be hyperbolic. This may have single-handedly destroyed her. There is not a black man on the planet, at least not in America, and that's the world as far as I'm concerned, that is not critical of this. And I mean, even Roland Martin, even Michael Harriot is saying this don't look good. Dyed in the wool Democratic shields. Dyed in the wool Democratic shields are saying this don't look good. This wasn't a good look. So they really need to think about if they want this man to come around again, because all this Pookie stuff and all this finger wagging, you have never done nothing for the black community. You have never offered us anything. At all. You haven't done anything to deserve the love and respect you had. Nothing. You just existed and got lucky. You lucky you had a black wife. Because if you didn't have a black wife, you wouldn't have even been able to do what you did up to that point. And I'm not even saying that like I would have cared. I didn't vote for you either way. But I'm saying your whole everything was luck. You could say it was orchestrated. You could say you did all this planning. It's been a whole lot of black people went to Harvard and they're not president. It's been a whole lot of black people with law degrees and they're not president. But this, I do sincerely believe, may have been the nail in the coffin of her campaign. Because if I was going to vote for her off of principle, I could not do it now. I will not be talked down to by a man like this. I got one father, and he don't have no sons. When I say he, I mean Obama don't have no sons, and it definitely ain't me. And for him to be talking to me like that when I got my own bills and I got to figure out my own life and I got to raise my own kids and I got to deal with my own wife and my own stuff, and you talking to me like I owe you something? You were in office for 8 years and your homeboy, your racist homeboy, was in office for 4 years. Your racist homeboy that you made the vice president was in office for 4 years and everything's gotten worse. Black homeownership rates under Obama fell. Black wealth under Obama fell. No, bro. Miss me with all that. You should have just stuck to Netflix and shut the hell up. And you lucky I only said hell because I'm trying not to cuss. I'm only not cussing out of respect for my dad because he asked me not to. But you can kick all the rocks. I don't know anybody. Now, maybe y'all two do. I don't know nobody black named Pookie. I don't know nobody named Pookie. I've never met a person in real life named Pookie. But he keep talking about these cousin Pookies, and all he really is a white man with an African daddy. That's all. And we allow him to talk about us like this and talk to us like this. I hope the Democratic Party go the way of the Whigs. This right here is a prime example why I will not be voting for them. I don't care who they run. They could be running against Jefferson Davis himself, and I wouldn't vote for him. Black people don't have an icon like Hitler because it's just the system of white supremacy exists to destroy us. So, I mean, you know, I would say a Klan member, but that's Joe Biden. Joe Biden was in the Junior Klan. He was in the you know, like the equivalent of the Boy Scouts to the Army. He was in that version of the Klan. He wasn't tough enough or brave enough to join the actual Klan, so he was just in a junior league. But I would vote for a hood-wearing Klan member before I vote for another Democrat again. Period. That's it for me.
Ooh, conspiracy brother coming in hot. I think we'll just leave it at that. I think you said all that needs to be said. All right, turning to our next topic. We were going to talk about the recent port strikes, and I don't have a whole lot of. I'm trying to remember what kind of where they at right now with that. Just typing in port strike workers.
Yeah,
But
they went back to
yeah,
work. They went back to work after I spent $500 to stock up. So
just in
they're
case.
back to work to January 15th. They got a 66% increase in wages,
Okay.
but they're working on the automation piece because the West Coast port is just about fully automated, and I
Mm,
think 800 people lost their job.
yeah.
So they're working on the automation piece.
Okay. Because I know
Mm.
there was a bit of a discussion about kind of like, well, we're the union boss. He makes like, almost $1 million a year. And there were some thoughts about like, oh, he's trying to just get a 75% increase for the workers. And I think there was a lot of early sort of just propaganda kind of bashing him. But when he
Well,
got on and talked about,
he
yeah.
does have a 7,000-foot house. He does
Hmm.
have a Bentley. That man is part of the mob. It is not a doubt in my mind.
Yeah,
Like
he got ties.
The
Yeah.
teachers is mob. He is part of the mob, and yes, and he had him. When I seen him with the Cartier glasses on, I was like, oh yeah, I knew instantly. So yeah, it is what it is. The man make $700,000 a month, a year. I mean,
Mm, yeah, almost a
yeah,
million.
and his house is beautiful. Okay, and the yacht.
And he did mention it was very interesting. There was a video where he was basically bashing Biden on how he helped rally the vote for Biden with I think it was the AFL-CIO or one of those, um, where basically he was like, yeah, Biden didn't deliver once we got him in. He wasn't delivering concessions on our end, so he kind of ripped into Biden on that. So I was still a little unsure about where his loyalties lie, but yeah, conspiracy brother, if you have any other perspective on this port strike, it's been averted. It was a lot of fear. There's a lot of nervousness around it, but yeah, any perspective you have on that?
Well, yeah, like Nun Dare said, as far as I know, they got a 65% raise. Um, so yeah, it's I support workers having the opportunity to get paid what they're worth. Even the whole conversation about him having a big house and all this stuff. I'm sure he's got mob ties because I know a lot of unions at the top. They do have that. That's kind of like the like hush hush thing about it all. But I'll say this, when the Affordable Care Act, which I think is a piece of crap, but one of the components of the Affordable Care Act is if you're a full-time employee, you have to be offered healthcare through your job, right? That was one of the conditions. So Papa John's, they moved all their employees to part-time because they said they couldn't afford to do it. But Papa John got a moat, right?
Mm,
Papa John, the guy who started Papa John's, has a moat outside his house. His
must be
house has a
nice.
moat. Right. Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, they own islands. They own private islands. Jeff Bezos worth hundreds of billions of dollars. If not hundreds, at least 100 million, 100 and some change billion. And nobody ever says, hey, man, you billionaires own all this money and you don't pay your workers. And Jeff Bezos at the Amazon warehouse, people got to wear trackers so they don't go to the bathroom too much. And you have people peeing in water bottles inside the facilities. And
You don't buy air conditioning. It's so hot inside your facilities. You just have a ambulance on staff, not on staff, but you have an ambulance on call. So if one of your workers pass out due to the heat, they can just go to the hospital right away. Nobody says that. But when the workers have a union and they have a guy there, even if he's getting paid $1 million a year, who is advocating for them and they're happy with it, they work there, you know, you could anybody who works at a union facility, the same way people say when you work on a job, the same way you say to McDonald's people, oh, if you want to make $25 an hour, quit. You know, if you don't like working at McDonald's making $7 or whatever. Same way if you work for a union. If you work for a union job, you don't like it, quit. Just quit. Just go get it. If it's so easy to just get jobs, just quit. Go get another job. There are plenty of non-union jobs. America is like one of the least unionized countries in the West. Go get a non-union job. You see what I'm saying? But that's the way that they try to make you think that this corrupt system that they control, like the globalist thing, you'll own nothing and you'll like it. You see what I'm saying? This is how they get you to believe that this is the right way. You usher in your own destruction by believing they BS lies, right? You can't even own land. You can't own your house. You can't own your vehicle. You don't have the freedom of movement. You can't just say, you know what? I done worked one job. I didn't have to work overtime. I make a living wage and I'm just going to take a year off, or I'm just going to do X, Y, Z with my money because I have all this time. You don't have the energy. You don't have the time to actually form a revolution and take your country back or make positive changes because everybody's exhausted because we're all working overtime or we're all overworked from working straight time. We're not being protected. We're not being well compensated. You see what I'm saying? This is a trick. This is a trap. The whole 15-minute cities and all this stuff. You think Klaus Schwab is doing this? You think all them globalists, you think, what's his name? George Soros or his son Alexander, you think they tired like this all day? They want to own everything and control everything and make sure you don't own nothing. Bill Gates, he owns more farmland. I think he's like the largest owner of farmland, any private citizen or some craziness like that. Why is it okay for him to own all the farmland? Why is it okay for them to drive gas cars? Why is it okay for them to have gas stoves? Why is it okay for them to drive gas guzzling airplanes? You see what I'm saying? This is a trick. That's what they want. They want to trick you into thinking that advocating for yourself is wrong and put all your trust and faith in the company. Now, I'm not saying every union is perfect. I'm not saying this guy is perfect. What I'm saying is you have to look at both sides and which one is better for you in any given situation. Is it better to take the company's word or is it better to have representation at your workplace? That's what you got to decide for yourself. But these same people who criticizing this man with mob ties, right? The mob controls the government. The mob controls the government. Look up Whitney Webb. She's done a whole bunch of interviews. She got 2 books out where she breaks down how the mob has controlled the United States government since like the 40s. The mob controlled the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover. They had pictures of him. That's how people know he was a cross-dresser and stuff, because the mob had pictures of him. That's how the mob was able to operate without ever having to worry about the FBI. They say the CIA used the mob to do the stuff the CIA couldn't do legally, because the CIA ain't supposed to spy on us. The CIA isn't supposed to do stuff to us. The CIA is supposed to be an external operation. So they would get the mob to do stuff. They get the mob to kill people, or they get the mob to follow people or kidnap people. You see what I'm saying? We have a web of corruption in this country that goes deep. But they want to tell you all the surface stuff. Oh, yeah, you know, whatever. The same mob that control this, control that, control y'all. And ain't nobody trying to stop it. Nobody's trying to stop it. But they want to have you thinking that you getting some mob protection for yourself is worse than them getting mob protection for themselves. Nah, bro. Let the mob kill each other. Let the mob fight each other. As long as this one is fighting for me in fairness and honesty, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Bezos got his mob. He could own the Washington Post. He could own Amazon Web Services. He could own, you know what I'm saying? He could own everything, control you. Have the Alexa listening to you, sending your information to the CIA? No, it's all good. Long as they getting paid and they feel like it's up to their standard, I'm cool with it. I wish I was getting paid a 65% raise.
Hey, great point, conspiracy brother. Always bringing the heat, man. I think we definitely gave us a lot of good things to think about. Because I mean, like you said, you know, if you don't like a union job, you can always quit. But I think a lot of times there's people that can't wait to sort of maybe demonize. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like we won't put the same pressure on these big technocrats, these magnates, these billionaires, as we would like with like the union guy, you know. Uh, so yeah, I think there's some great points there, bro. And yeah, let's definitely move on to the next. So next topic, Janet Jackson Kamala comments. I know it's kind of cooled off a little bit, but apparently Janet Jackson fired her rep after he put out like, oh, her apologizing, but it turns out she doubled down. It was like, no, you know. And then you kind of have a lot of people that are coming out and coming for Janet. And of course, MSNBC, they don't have any problem the machine or the matrix coming after you as soon as you fall out of line. And I also brought this up because there's also other people that are kind of going through the matrix attacks, such as NYC Mayor Eric Adams, who who was pretty much in lockstep with his Democrat counterparts. But as soon as he starts talking truth about this migrant situation and how it's having effects on the Black and Brown communities, now he's persona non grata. Now there's indictments coming down. They're coming for him, based off of that. You can't say that's political. Also, Tim Pool over at Timcast, who had predicted a couple years ago that the establishment was going to start coming after journalists. They came after Orange Schreier, the InfoWars. They came after the guy over at Blaze TV. So now there's other reporters such as Benny Johnson and Tim Pool. Now they're getting thrown through the mud and claiming that, oh, there was this Russian company that they accepted money for, and basically they just agreed to have them license out their content. Now they're accusing Tim Pool and others of being like Russian propagandists. So once again, I kind of say this to say, once again, Janet Jackson's getting it pretty bad. And then also even Andrew Tate, who's up on new charges in Romania and what they're kind of doing to him. But I wanted to at least just sort of open the floor out just to kind of get an idea about, where are we now with Janet Jackson? And to me, it's kind of eerie because 15 years later, 15 years since we lost Michael and the war Michael was fighting with Sony and a lot of the people in that industry who was trying to come after him for trying to get, I think, majority stakes in Sony. Um, we're now seeing similar kind of like warning, like Negro warning, don't step out of line with us. And I think a lot of people are rallying behind Janet, and I don't, and I'm right there with them. So yeah, whoever wants to take the floor and give their thoughts on this, them trying to cancel Janet Jackson over her God-given right to speak her truth about Kamala Harris and speaking facts and her doubling down on it, which I really respect. So whoever wants the floor. Nun Dare, conspiracy brother, whoever. Yep.
Well, yeah, I think again, this points to, Black people have their own mind. We have our own. We're not a monolith, and we're not all just running behind mainstream media to get their talking points and regurgitate them, like you saw when we was reading them comments earlier. We have our own mind. We have our own beliefs, whether you agree with them or not, whether they're conspiracy theories, whether they're true, whatever they are. Black people have their own autonomy. They can think what they want. We can believe what we want. We can do what we want. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We're not all, oh, Kamala Harris, oh, man. Barack Obama ruined all that. When you had a black president and you was a black person and your life got worse, all that became irrelevant. That's one thing I'll give him credit for. He quickened the political education of Black people all over this country, because he showed a vast majority of us who, had the capacity to learn that just because you Black doesn't mean you're not capable of committing the same evil or being just as callous or whatever as anybody else. People like to act like, oh yeah, Black people can't do such. We not that kind of. No, we can be just as rotten as anybody else. And Barack Obama showed you that a person who looked like you, who looked like he got the same hair as you, who looked like you live in the same neighborhood, who looked like he got the same family, get the same haircut, whatever you think has the capacity to do the same evil to you as anybody else. So who cares if Kamala Harris become president? We've done this once and nothing got better. You see what I'm saying? Now, if it was a situation where you had 2 Black people running, it wouldn't matter, because you have to pick somebody Black and somebody have to win. And this is the way it's been for most of the history of this country, because it's just been white guys running for the most part, or, most guys running for the 2 major parties. So it looks like, oh yeah, y'all just all love this one guy who won. It haven't been that way. Somebody just had to win, and it was really only 2 choices. But now here's a Black choice and a white choice. And Black people ain't just falling over themselves to vote for the Black choice no more. And we definitely respect Janet Jackson more than Kamala Harris. Janet Jackson has been more impactful for all of our lives as Black people in America, at least Black people who are from this country natively and not, first or second generation Americans, than Kamala Harris has been, at least in a positive way. We could all say that to a T. So she shouldn't walk back her comment. What did she say? I thought her father was white. Or I heard her father was white. What's to apologize? Because you thought you heard something? Or you heard something? I'm apologizing for what I heard. I'm apologizing for repeating something I heard. No, I'm apologize for that. I'm not going to apologize for that. She don't have to apologize for that. And this is how Black people feel. We have autonomy. This is white liberal media. They want you to think we're supposed to be lockstep behind the Democratic Party for some from 60 years ago. No, the collective consciousness of not only the nation, but the Black community has shifted. I've heard that. I've heard that this is the age of Aquarius. I've heard that. This was years ago when I was hearing that we was entering the age of Aquarius. And, Aquarius brings enlightenment. I don't know if that's true or not. But what I can say is that as a whole, there has been a shift in the collective consciousness of the nation and of the world. And I can see it. I can feel it. And when you talk to people, you can hear it. People aren't falling for the lies no more. You know what I'm saying? People aren't just believing whatever the people on TV in a nice suit say, because we have the benefit of experiencing things with our own 2 eyes. I can see. So you can't tell me, like the expression, don't piss on my back and tell me it's raining. I can see. I can smell. This is pee. This ain't rain. It's wet. It ain't rain. And the media haven't caught up to it either, because they're used to being able to control the narrative. They're used to being able to make people think something. You know why? Because everybody didn't have a camera 50 years ago in their pocket or a computer. So when the newsman said something, that was the only time you heard it. And then you never heard it again. When Life magazine or Time magazine or the New York Times or the Washington Post posted a story 50 years ago, that meant it was true. But now we know they full of liars. And here's the video evidence to prove this ain't true. Or here's the hidden emails or leaked files to show that y'all working with the government to put out fake stories. Julian Assange and WikiLeaks just showed us that. Janet Jackson should have fired that dude because she didn't authorize him to speak on her behalf. Know your place. When you're working for somebody, you got to do what they tell you to do. I got to do it at my job.
I agree with everything you said. Janet Jackson does not have to apologize because she was right. Candace Owens exposed Kamala's background. She really did. And her background is Irish and Indian. And apparently, what happened, this blew my mind. Candace Owens, and I played her clips on my channel. She pulled death certificate, birth certificates. She has evidence. And when Donald Harris, because my question is, who is her father? Because Donald Harris died at 2 years old. This man who's posing as Donald Harris does not have a birth record, uh, anything. She hasn't found anything on this person. And she's right, but Candace Owen did a heck of a job on exposing her heritage. So, and this came out after, I believe, after the Janet Jackson comment. I believe I may be wrong on that, but she has a right to her opinion. Whatever. I mean, you know, we don't all think alike, and we don't all do the same things. And it's mind-boggling to me, especially when we deal with other ethnicities, that they just think that I had two. Said, "Oh, Kamala," and I shook my head. No. Oh, really? No. I'm not for her. No. Just because we have the same, we don't have the same skin tone. We don't think alike. I'm sorry, we're different. And I'm looking at them like they crazy. I can't even believe that you would want someone like her. Because the only thing they can say is, I don't like Trump. That's it. Nothing else. But that's off the topic. But no, Janet Jackson has a right to her opinion, and she has a right, and she should not apologize. Because as far as I know, we still have freedom of speech. I thought we do, even though there's a lot of censorship. But I mean, clearly that is the First Amendment. That's about all I have to say.
All right, Nun Dare, great comments, and especially conspiracy brother. Definitely more to come on that. We'll see if maybe Janet Jackson, maybe they'll eventually interview her, and hopefully she stands on her ground. We stand with Janet though. All right, next topic. Conor McGregor announcing a run for president in his homeland, Ireland. So this is very interesting. Conor McGregor has definitely been very outspoken politically as of late. We've covered this on the show before. As far as the UK, they're usually 5 to 10 years ahead of us, but they're a lot of the countries, including Ireland, have been very open borders, allowing different migrants in that aren't vetted, that don't really speak the language, know the culture, and it has been causing some issues, and that country along with a lot of other ones. Even recently with the UK having those riots because of a guy that apparently went in and like stabbed a few girls in a Taylor Swift dance or something like that. But yeah, this was just very interesting. I don't know if anyone's as on top of it or know much about it, but he did make this run, or he made it official. Uh, and let's see here. But yeah, I think just from what he's been saying, like, he seems to have a very sort of populist, I guess Ireland first, or not too pro illegal immigration. But is this really a reflection of what we're seeing here? He's he's taking a stance with his country, and he's calling out the corruption and kind of what's going on. So yeah, I just want to know if anybody had any thoughts on this, you know, and yeah, I guess wish him luck. I'll take anybody over. I'm not voting Ireland, obviously, but I'll take anyone over establishment. So maybe he's trying to be the change.
Well, he has a good chance of winning, that's for sure. And he is totally against immigration. And see, what's so different with their immigration and ours is that they have a lot of uh Arabic
Hmm.
people and African people that come through their into their countries,
Hmm.
and what they're bringing is their culture. You know what I mean, with the extreme Islamic views. You know that's totally against their culture, and no, they don't speak the language. The same thing over here. But what's happening over there is going to happen here eventually with riots if they keep doing what they're doing. And I mean, that's what they're pushing for. But that's another topic. Um, However, he has a good chance against that. And actually, they're now deporting a lot of those migrants from out of those countries. Even UK, even Germany, they are now deporting because it's just too much. You can't go to another country and bring your culture. You cannot do that. And you don't know the laws of the land, or anything. But yeah, I think he has a very good chance. I believe he'll probably win it. I really do. I really do.
All right, conspiracy brother.
Well, I haven't really heard much about this, honestly. But if he's, it's his home country. If he want to run for it, I don't know what his policies are or much. I've heard about the immigration thing over there, but I don't know much about it. But hey, run, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's your country. That's where your people from. I support your right to exercise your freedoms in your own land, just like I'm talking about black people here exercising their rights in their own land.
Yep, to each his own. All right, we'll see what comes from that. All right, this next one, we got a couple topics left, y'all. Once again, you guys are watching Uncomfy Truths. We live stream on Sundays bi-weekly. But we got to talk about this. Mother claims PPS staff member forced her daughter to register to vote. This comes out of Pittsburgh schools, and the Pittsburgh Public School refutes the claim. And we got a few TikTok receipts. Pittsburgh Public School has responded after a video posted on TikTok went viral. In the series of videos, a mother claims, let's see here, that her daughter was forced to register to school to register to vote while in school.
Oh yeah, I
PPS
saw
says,
all those videos. Yeah,
yeah,
she went in. She went in. Yes, go ahead. Yes, she did.
yeah. And in a text exchange shared by the mother, student says she was pulled out of class to register. The mother says in the video that she is a supporter of Donald Trump. Claims the PPS staff member was saying things about how damaging the Trump presidency would be for people of color. In the posted text exchange, the daughter claimed she was a registered Democrat. In a follow-up video, yeah, she was registered Democrat. So that's what the teacher did. In a follow-up video, the mother secretly recorded with a PPS staff member. She expresses her dissatisfaction with the school registering her 17-year-old daughter to vote. Pittsburgh released a statement on KDKA radio saying that the staff member did not share any political opinions, did not try to influence the student, that the staff member was recorded without consent. And here's a full statement below if anybody wants to read that. But I think we could play a video clip. I think it'd be pretty interesting. Um, so see if I could play this real quick.
Before I start this video, I'm going to say this is a personal experience of mine. Something.
Can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear the audio?
Yes, I hear.
Yes, I hear.
Okay.
Daughter is dealing with, and I have proof, just in case my video is deleted for no reason. I just want to put that out there. Today, my 17-year-old daughter was pulled out of class and was told she needed to register to vote. Not only was she told how to register, she was told who she should vote for. And these are her words. And I'm going to upload proof at the end of this video. And I'm coming with part 2 tomorrow. Because why the fuck would y'all pull my daughter out of class telling her who to vote for? I am her mother. And I have yet to have this conversation with her about the upcoming election. I have not signed any consent forms telling y'all that my daughter can register to vote at school. I'm going to just jump right into these screenshots. That's just it. Because y'all played with the wrong mom. Here's the first page. I'm going to leave this on for a couple seconds so y'all can read it. Talking about pissed. Telling my daughter who to vote for. You're right. Here's the second page. This is what we're doing. We're going to Pittsburgh public high schools, telling children who to vote for. Let's make this make sense. I have never seen no shit like this in my life. I have never seen it. This is just like disgusting at this point.
Okay, so here's a second video where she actually confronts the teacher that did that. And we can kind of, I'd like to get I can get both of your reactions. So here we go.
Because I'm pissed right now. Okay, so yesterday, you pulled my daughter out of class, and you told her that it was mandatory for her to vote. No, I didn't say it was mandatory. So that's what she told me. These are her words, that she said it was mandatory that she votes. No, ma'am. But go ahead. Finish telling me. Okay. And that you projected your fears and insecurities on her, telling her if Donald Trump was elected, black people would be doomed. Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. So let me say this. I am a minority inspector. Okay. For 1016. And you know, as a minority inspector, never, ever, ever discuss politics or your beliefs or anything like that. So can we calm my daughter down here? Because at this point, you're making it like she's a complete liar. My daughter has never told me someone said anything such to her like this. No, ma'am. So this is what happened. I did call her down to register to vote because we're registering all the 18-year-olds to vote. She's not 18. She's 17. Yeah, but she turns 18 before the election. Yeah, but I could have took my daughter to register her to vote. I did not ask for y'all to register my daughter to vote. I have not even spoke to her about the election yet. And I am not a Harris supporter. I am a Trump supporter. Yes, ma'am. So for you to tell her anything, and it's like now you're saying she's lying. So now I want her to come down here. Listen, I'm not saying your daughter's lying. What I'm saying is that I did call her into my office. I did register her to vote. We did have a conversation about it. She did ask me about Trump. She did ask me about Harris. So we started a conversation about, what's going on. I wasn't projecting anything on her. I was just talking about things that are going on in the world. Yeah, did you tell her about the border being unsecure? So did you tell her about all the illegal criminals that's in this country right now? So we did have a conversation about the border, and we did talk about the border policies and all of that. We did have a conversation about everything. So let me just say this. I apologize to you for offending you because that was not my intentions. I was not trying to project any of my political beliefs on your daughter or anything like that. That's why I don't know why the conversation was had. What consent forms did I sign saying I was okay with my daughter being registered to vote in school? She's still 17 years old. So what consent forms were signed for that? None. because there really isn't any. You know, we just register students to vote here. At every high school, they're registering students. But she's still not 18. She had until the 21st of October, I believe, to register, and her birthday is on the 5th. Right. So we are permitted to register all students whose birthday that happens by the 5th, because that's the date of the election. So her birthday's October 5th, not November 5th. So she had until the end of October to register to vote. So that way I could have took her as her mother, and I could have explained to her what to do, to look up both policies without me telling her anything. Right. This is just not right. She was asking me questions, and so I was answering her questions. Yeah, because she wanted to know, why did she have to get pulled out of class to register to vote? No, that wasn't the question she asked me. She was asking me questions. Y'all talking about it? I don't know. Hi. So now, when she said she didn't tell you, the stuff that you told me she told you, that black people will be doomed if Trump becomes president? I didn't say black people will be doomed if Trump becomes president. We did have a conversation about policies and different things like that. You know, you were asking me questions, and I was telling you about some of the policies that he had and some policies Harris has. So we did have that type of conversation. I don't know if we asked him questions. I think that was just really as much as like, right, yeah, right. So you was just like agreeing, like talking? No, I'm like, I'm not really, I don't really care about it, so I'm not really engaged in the conversation much. I'm just like, okay. So you didn't ask me any questions at all? No. Okay. Well, this is what I'm going to say. I apologize for raising your daughter to vote. At this point, she is raised to the vote. If you would like to change that. I am, because it should not have been done in the first place. If you would like to change, anything that's on that form that went in, you're welcome to do that. I know that. You can go online and do it. I know. I didn't feel like I was projecting anything on her. You are by telling her anything that you saying you didn't say black people be done. She's saying you said it. I'm going to believe my daughter, because she would not lie to me about something like this. Why would she lie? Why would she? Like, I asked, like, if I could do it later, like, it's kind of like, and I'm like, I don't. Did you feel like I was pressuring you? Yeah, she said she didn't want to do it at the moment. Yeah. I mean, feel like that was pressuring. Yeah, I expected to do it at a time. I didn't really know if it was answering or not. Okay. Well, we're going to agree to disagree on this conversation. I apologize if you feel like you were pressured. I apologize for raising your daughter to vote without your consent and without you having an opportunity to have a conversation with her or even checking anything online. So that's all I can say right now is I apologize. Yeah, I'm calling the news also. Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming in. Thank you. I'm taking my daughter out of the school. She do not feel comfortable. I'm just completely pissed off right now. I'm pissed.
All right. So a lot to unpack there, but Nun Dare Conspiracy Brother, whoever wants to go first. I'm not a parent as of yet, but I can only imagine just the blood boiling over something like this. Whether it's a Republican teacher who's pressuring, somebody to vote for Trump, that's just as wrong. Either way it goes. So whoever wants to go first, so we can kind of, yeah.
I'll be short and sweet. I totally agree. I would be pissed as well. That's not your place. And if that's something that you want to do as far as registering children that's under 17, that's 17, I'm sorry. You should you should send home a consent form. Is it okay to register your child? But there should not be any political conversation going on with the child. Now, I think when they're 18, it's kind of iffy because you're right there at that stage, 18, even though you're still in high school, but still I think that the parents should be informed that this is something we do should my child participate. But under no circumstances should there be any political talk about the candidates at all. That's
Yeah,
between the parent and the child.
yeah, and I think this is what's really scary about this. It kind of takes me back when I think of COVID, and there were different people, different schools where they were telling the students they can get the COVID vaccine without the parents' permission, and raise and lowering the age of consent and all that stuff. And it always seems to come from the, overwhelmingly the Democrats, where not only are they telling, your students or your kids who to vote for, but now they're like, oh no, you can get this vaccine. We can lower the age, and there was all types of stuff of that stuff going on with that. So it's just outrageous. Um, Basically, they're kind of like it's kind of like that saying, like the left doesn't have your kids. I mean, the left doesn't have kids; they have yours. And this weird sort of you see it more from the Democrat side, where they have to basically they want your kids. It's kind of like they try to put an ownership over your own kids. But conspiracy brother, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit just in general, but this is why I make sure that I talk to my kids about stuff like this. My oldest is 9 years old. My youngest is 3, and I have a 6-year-old. And we talk about politics, at this age. We talk about politics. I don't want my kids to be caught off guard. You see what I'm saying? And this is a thing I think a lot of parents do. And I think they have good intentions, but a lot of parents, I feel like they try not to expose their children to things too soon because they don't want to overwhelm them. But I think what happens when you do that is you open the door for your child to be exposed to these things from some other source. See what I'm saying?
hmm
You have to be able to take control over your child's education, over your child's socialization. You have to do all that. You can't leave it up to the school or the school district. Even with since you brought up, the vaccine and all that stuff. During that time period, my oldest was so what was she 5? They didn't have school, but then when she was like 6, 7, I told her, look, you're not taking any tests at the school at all. Don't, and so they tried to get her to take a test. And they even tried to say that her parents consented to her taking a test. One of those spit tests, the test where you spit in the tubes.
wow,
And I had already told her, do not take a test. If they try to get you to take a test, tell them to call your parents. And so this is probably one of the proudest moments as a parent that I've had. So coincidentally, me and my oldest daughter started talking about handshakes and what handshakes meant. And, when you shake somebody's hand, that's a sign of agreement. When you shake hands, that means you agree with what they're saying, and that means yes. And I'm telling her this 6 or 7 years old. So she says that the teacher at the school said, your parents said that you could get this test. And so whatever. So my daughter said, no, you're supposed to call my parents. My parents don't want me to do this. Call my dad. And so the teacher said to her, here, how about we take the test first, and then I'll call your parents later. Deal? And she stuck out her hand for my daughter to shake it. And my daughter, remembering what I told her about shaking hands, put her hands in her pocket and said, no deal. And she didn't get the test. And then they contacted us, and we talked to the school. Well, they didn't contact us. My daughter told us, or my wife told me, and we talked to them and said, no, we don't consent. Where did you get off saying that we consented? And the school said that, well,
when we contacted you, you didn't give affirmative, or what is it? Not affirmative consent, but it's we didn't get a no, so that counts as a yes. That's what they tried to say. I said, so no. The answer is no. We don't do this. We're not doing this. And they said, well, if she doesn't get tested, she can't come to school. She'll have to go to an offsite or whatever, online or virtual. And I said, that's fine. And they ended up not doing it, which I knew they wouldn't, because they're not following through with this stuff like they want. But you have to teach it, even at a young age. You cannot expect the schools, you can't expect somebody else to raise your kids. You can't. You have to prepare them to handle whatever possibilities may come up in their life, no matter how young they are. You just have to. You never, ever can expect that the schools or anybody else will do right by your kids, will raise them the way you want them to be raised, or to do the kind of things that you would do. It just ain't going to happen. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm not piling on this mother or anybody else who's been in this situation. You just don't know. But I'm saying you got to keep this in your mind, because, this is the reality of what happens. The reason I'm against the saliva test is because I don't want them having access to my child's DNA on file. When you went on the school's website and you were talking to them about the test, the saliva test, one of the questions was, does the test company store the DNA? Right? Something to that effect on the FAQ page. And the answer was, they're not supposed to. Not no. The answer wasn't no. The answer was, they're not supposed to, which means they are, which means that's what they're doing. Because if they weren't doing it, you would say, no, they're not doing it. But they're not supposed to removes any liability from the school or the school district from requiring my child to take this test as a condition of enrollment. I'm not doing it. I'm not interested.
I am so sorry that you went through that. I had no idea. Wow. And I'm glad you had that talk. And that's just a perfect example that you have to talk to your children about everything now. I mean, seriously, because now if they would have went ahead and gave her that test, if you had not talked to her, now we're in litigation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then I still have no proof that you destroy the DNA, or that you don't have access to it, or that you haven't already distributed it to whoever you distribute. That's my
they
issue with all
keeping that
this.
DNA. Oh, they
Right.
keeping it. Ancestry. That's why I will not send my DNA. No, you will not. And then you might find that I got a jewel inside of me, and I end up under the river somewhere. You not. I'm not. Be like Henrietta Leaks, right?
Yep.
All her cells and they still using her cells.
Yep. To this day, I still think the family's getting nothing for it.
Not nothing. And it's a shame. Oh.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing. You got to take an active role in the raising and developing of your children. You have to. There's no way around it.
Man, great perspective, conspiracy brother, and also Nun Dare. I think they gave us a lot to think about. So I think this is a good topic for us to kind of call it. I know there are a couple current events we didn't get to, but that can always be for the next show. But yeah, this is really scary, very disturbing, and just kind of like a bigger example of really the government kind of, and this is kind of Republican and Democrat. I mean, at least the uniparty that is, where they want to encroach and put the government more in the place of the parents. And this war on children and the war against parents is just very disturbing. And we just continue to see this push, 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 then, retreat, push, 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 retreat, which is kind of out of the Communist Manifesto, where it's just kind of like, get the kids. So yeah, that's all I got on this.
You know what?
Yeah,
I want a topic for the next
mhm,
show.
yeah.
Elon's robots. You see where they going with this thing?
Oh, what's
Oh,
that? Elon's robots.
what he just released a whole slew of robots that you can purchase. Let me tell you. So we're heading right into
Oh Lord.
transhumanism, half human. You got do the research when y'all get it, because I think that will be a great topic for next time.
Okay. Yeah,
He
yeah.
just released them today, and you'll see them walking. They like walking the runway.
So what sort of robots are these? Are these like robots for traffic,
I hadn't
cars?
done. I just briefly looked at it earlier before I went out
Mhm.
working. So, but just what I think that would be a great listen. It's transhumanism. That's where we're going. Half human,
Yeah.
half robot. That's where they're getting to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I know we got to wrap up here, but I remember one of our first episodes, being conspiracy brother. We talked about Elon Musk. Maybe our second or third episode. Elon Musk, savior of Trojan horse. It was good
Mm.
as much of a good game. He talks with free speech, and he recently came out and endorsed Trump. There's some things I like about Elon, but at the end of the day, it's not just the WEF. I know he kind of disavowed the WF, even though
He did.
yeah,
He
even though
did.
they tried to list him as a young leader, but it's still his transhumanism, the chips, and a lot of other
Hmm.
things where like Elon sounds good, and I'm all for him, backing Trump and being all about free speech and calling out the what the Democrats are doing. But long term with the transhumanism and a lot of things he has tied with that, I'm still cautiously optimistic about him long term. So I think it's
Right.
good
But
we keep that in mind.
yeah, but I do like how he came through,
Mhm.
during that hurricane, and he hooked up Starlink so that, because they
Oh
were,
yeah. Mhm.
so he does do some good, but sometimes I wonder if he is even human, to tell you the truth. I do wonder that.
Yeah, him and Mark
I mean,
Zuckerberg.
really, I
Yeah.
really do, because he is really weird.
They
And I
talk
would
about
like to use
weird.
another word, but he is really, or is he so genius level that he's, because most geniuses are crazy in some form or fashion anyway.
Yeah, the awkwardness, like with Mark
Yeah,
Zuckerberg.
it's
I think there's a
something.
little bit of that. I don't think they're like actually
I think
androids. You
Mark
rip off their
Zuckerberg
face.
is. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say he's so pale. He looks, and his eyes are. He looks like Data from Star Trek, the
Yeah,
next
exactly.
generation.
Yeah,
No soul. No soul.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
Yep.
I'm with you on that. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, everybody, thanks for watching episode 32 of Uncomfy Truths. Definitely had a good chance to kind of talk our Kamala Town Hall reactions. Been building a lot of momentum.
I need
Obviously,
you to
yeah.
download. You don't have to walk me
No,
through it. I still can't do it. I was trying while we were on here, and I still can't do it.
we'll talk offline. Yeah, you just I sent the email. You just click on the link and then you put in the passcode. You can just download it, but I'll help you with that. Yeah.
Oh, the passcode didn't work. Okay, maybe I wrote it down wrong. Okay.
Okay. We'll work on that. But
Okay, we can do it
yeah.
tomorrow because I gotta be up at 5. I gotta go to work at 6. So in the
All
morning.
good.
So I'll
All
call
right.
you tomorrow. I appreciate it. And nice
Appreciate you
talking
too.
to you, conspiracy brother. Again, great,
Oh,
great
thank you,
commentary. I really enjoy your commentary.
thank you.
It's fantastic. And again, you did I forget your name on here. Lord have mercy. I got sleepy now. But the moderator, also a good job.
Mhm.
Again, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah, glad to have you. Always glad to have you.
and then
Thank
shameless
you.
plug. Once again, we're trying to do the next one next Sunday. So we kind of got that locked in, and we're going to be confirming panelists this week. So anybody
Okay.
who was on the first one's
And I
welcome to
would
come back.
be I
Yeah.
would be at home for that, already rested. So I work, I had that together. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in to Uncomfy Truths, episode 32 in the bag, and we will have next week not streaming live, but we will upload probably the next day, a Zoom webinar of our follow-up to Black Women, Black Men, Not for Harris. And then 2 weeks after that, either November 3rd or the 10th, we'll have our regular Uncomfy Truths Sunday show again. So we will see you all then. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the comments, good, bad, and ugly. We're all about free speech and debating our ideas and proper discourse. So that's all I got. Everybody, have a good evening.
All right, you guys as well. Bye.
Thanks. Peace.